Joseph looks like he's still it. Rookie quarterback versus Brian Flores. Points per game, 65. Points per game, 63. That's 2.1. 2.2 points per game in the ground up this season.
Hello, mate. Yeah, all good, all good. I'm just sticking to, we're stuck to headsets for now, but we'll see what the sound sounds like, and if we need to switch to lit mic, I can do. Because the thing is, I want to get some of the effects feed, because it has all like the clashing in the middle of the field and stuff. It's like having the stump mic in cricket, it just sounds better. Yeah. How's that sounding? Better?
That sounds better, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, mate. To be fair to those academy kids, they were down on the sideline when we were down there.
Yeah.
Big
lads. They've had a few guys get offers, haven't they?
Right. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London, where 18 years ago at a wet and windy Wembley, Eli Manning beat Jason Taylor with a naked bootleg round the corner to score one of only 2 rushing touchdowns in his career and kick off the international series with a victory for the New York Giants. Well, 18 years and 40 games later, we're back here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as the Minnesota Vikings take on the Cleveland Browns. The NFL is back in London. Oh yeah, you've got nothing to do in like the first 5 or 6 minutes. It's nice and easy. Touchdown! Hey, back with NFL Live here on talkSPORT 2 after the heady days of Dublin last weekend. We're back on more familiar territory at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This resplendent new ground built in 2019, hosting the NFL for the 6th year out of the last 7. And honestly, every time I enter here, I am absolutely astounded about just how much it feels like you're in an NFL stadium in North America. We had a walk around pitch side earlier on as the Browns and the Vikings were warming up for today's clash, which on paper might not be the sexiest of all time. A defensive battle, I think it's fair to say today, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be exciting football. And the feeling, the sense of occasion was palpable. Lots of purple in here early doors, lots of Viking fans, but the orange and brown of the Browns starting to fill the stands as well, as we've got a fascinating game in front of us today. I'm Will Gavin. Alongside me we'll have Gregg Rosenthal and Ollie Connolly on the call today. But before any of that, let's get the very latest odds with William Hill. And it's going to be our very own Ben Barrett to give us the latest odds ahead of Vikings-Browns. Thank you very much, Ben. Those were the latest odds with William Hill. 18 plus, gamble responsibly, begambleaware.org. So this is the first of many games here on talkSPORT 2 over the course of this evening. Plenty of NFL action this Sunday. We start here in North London as the Browns face the Vikings, and from 6 tonight, Jets, Cowboys, two teams very much with their season and reputation, I'm going to say, on the line, as well as keeping you across all of the 6 p.m. slate. And then I think a really fun Sunday night football game tonight as the New England Patriots take on the Buffalo Bills. Drake May's looked excellent through 4 weeks. Their offense has been surprisingly efficient, but they haven't faced a murderer's row of teams. So let's see what they can do against the Buffalo Bills tonight. But let's focus on our action here as a band is playing a little bit of this Centro Americana. 20 minutes before kickoff, we're hearing a little bit of Journey. We're seeing fans on the big screen singing along. We've got the London Games logo in the corner, ready for the teams to come out. All of the anthems, the pomp, the circumstance that goes ahead of these games. And I said this last week, I always get asked ahead of these games, like, do the crowd buy into all that stuff, all the Americana? I'm like, that's part of the fun. That's part of what people want when they come to these things. They want the halftime show, they want the anthems pre-game. Yes, they want to enjoy the sport, but they love everything that comes along with it, and you're going to hear all of that today. I'm Will Gavin. Alongside me to start things off today, the brilliant football writer, former NFL scout, Ollie Connolly's here. Check out his fine work at the Read Optional. And Ollie, you heard Ben talking about it there. One of the big keys to this game is what can Dylan Gale do? Taken in the 3rd round this year, 94th overall. It's fair to say over the last 30 years, the Cleveland Browns have cycled their way through a fair few starting quarterbacks. What confidence do you have in this young and diminutive man today?
He is a diminutive man. It's a really tricky task to make your first start internationally. It's very rare you see the 94th overall pick get a start at quarterback this early in the season. They've made the change. They thought Joe Flacco was immobile, that he wasn't pushing the ball down the field as well anymore. And so they go to Gabriel, who can move. He can scamper around a bit. He can move around in the pocket, and he's facing maybe the toughest defensive task you can face in football, and he's doing it on the road during a disrupted practice week.
The numbers don't bode well for him, right? Mm-hmm. Browns quarterbacks starting their first game for Cleveland since 1999 have gone 0-16. But that's astonishing. Not one scraped last-minute field goal type win. Not one bizarre turnover to somehow turn something in. And yet today there is that feeling that with the mismatch they have on the other side of the ball, with the Cleveland Browns defense, which we'll break down in some more depth coming up, but we're seeing Myles Garrett being interviewed by Judy Batista on the sideline right now, that they have so many game wreckers up front against the Vikings offensive line, which is so banged up, that maybe that could be the thing that decides this game.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll be focusing on today. The Browns roll A deep up front with true game wreckers, and the Vikings are starting, one player you would say is a starter caliber player in the league right now. Even Will Fry's the right guard who came over in free agency. He's had a really tough start to the season, so they're trying to figure out what to do with this remade offensive line. And the Browns, as I said, can go through 7, 8 guys, roll out different packages, give different looks to Carson Wentz. So it feels like we're in for a turnover day. It feels like the excitement will come both sides of the ball, both defenses, two of the best defensive coordinators in the league, two of the best defenses in the league through the early stage of the season. So I'm fired up. I'm fired up for a defensive game.
Yeah, this is it. Like, sometimes, like, a 0-0 in football is not necessarily a great game, or a scrape last-minute 1-0 win, right? In the NFL, we could have a 13-10 game, but with 5+ turnovers, with action going both ways, with missed kicks, with blocked this and that and the other. Like, that can cause us as many big moments, as many thrills, and as much excitement as possible. Just on the point of that Vikings offensive line. So what we're expecting today, Ryan Kelly, the centre, has now been put on IR and honestly may well have played his last snap in the NFL with his concussion issues over the last 5 years. But the backup centre, Michael Jurgens, is out as well. So we're expecting that Blake Brandel and Joe Huber, the two backup guards, one is going to play centre, one is going to fill in for starting left guard Donovan Jackson, and then backup left tackle Justin School is expected to play at right tackle in place of Brian Neal, who hurt his MCL last week, strained it in that game in Dublin. Like, this is as makeshift as these things come, and you might have a couple of starters on there, and I sometimes believe with an offensive line, if you've got two great guys, you can build around that. But to have a shortened week, to be abroad, everything else that comes with it, this is kind of wild for them up front.
Yeah, and typically with an offensive line, if you have one sinkhole, you can kind of work around that. You can game plan, you can move the pocket, you can do different things. Once you start getting to 2, it's a nightmare. You get to 3, you might have to back up and go on to next week. And the problem they've really got is everything the Browns want to do. Everyone knows about Myles Garrett, probably the best pass rusher in the NFL. They want to puncture the interior part of the offensive line. So they're really going to try and challenge the center and the 2 guards, and they're weak links. And there's a ton of talent and depth on the Browns along the interior, which is not what they've had in recent years. It's been Garrett and everyone else off the edge, and now they've got guys who can roll inside as well.
Yeah, Mason Graham, the first-round pick from this year, had probably his best start in the NFL last weekend against the Lions in a game where the Browns, realistically, they conceded 34 points, but of those points, 10 of them came on a full field against the defense. The rest was all off turnovers, off punt returns, and short fields. They had 3 touchdown drives started within the 20. 2 of those started within the 5. Like, it's very difficult as a defense if you're put in that position to stop the other team from scoring. But I thought Graham was excellent. Malik Collins has been great this year as well. Carson Schlesinger also taken high in this year's draft, had an impressive game last week. So look, there's a lot to be excited about on that Browns defense. We'll talk the Vikings defense up against Dylan Gabriel coming up shortly. We'll also have the national anthems and all the pre-game action coming up for you shortly as we build up to Vikings Browns live and exclusive here on talkSPORT 2 from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT 2. I'm Will Gavin. Ollie Connolly alongside me on the call today. Gregg Rosenthal, by the way, will be joining us shortly here. He's off doing TV and getting selfies and doing all those things that Gregg Rosenthal does in the build-up to a game. But he'll be with us for kickoff today. And don't forget, if you're listening on talkSPORT 2, either via the talkSPORT app, DAB, or on the talkSPORT website, you can actually watch the action today from the commentary booth. We're doing a watch-along live on our YouTube channel, so check out talkSPORT USA. And on there as well, the exclusive player interviews. We had Grant Delpit this week. We had Leo Chenal off the back of that sensational interception he had last week for the Chiefs. Plenty of other reaction, response. This man next to me is trying to convince me to do a nerd show with him, and I am all for it. As on the big screens here at Tottenham, you can hear that drum rolling, and macho fan Randy Savage appears to be banging the big brown drum as the Dogs are coming. It proclaims to us on the big screen here. Look, Ollie, you're a man who follows this game as closely as anyone, who studies the game inside and out. Do you still enjoy all of this? Do you still get behind all of the fun?
You have to love the pageantry. I just love this event. You mentioned before, I think it's a really fairly equal crowd. It started full of Vikings fans. The orange has started coming through, and I think we're in for something that's going to be really exciting. When you get chaos, this is going to be a chaotic game. When you get chaos, the crowd gets into it. I think it's going to be a fun one.
I'm buying chaos. I'm in for chaos. We see the flag bearers down in that left-hand corner behind by the London Games logo as we wait for the teams to come out. I think it's going to be the Vikings sideline down in front of us where we are here up in the TV gantry as we watch some kicking going on from the Cleveland Browns kicking team. Andre Schmidt, their rookie kicker, who's had a decent season so far, just the one miss from 50 plus. But we just await as well. I mean, it does astonish me, these kickers just smashing it from 60-odd yards and having no problem whatsoever.
It's unbelievable, and with the new rule change, you're basically one first down away from feeling like you're in field goal territory at this point.
Out come the Minnesota Vikings then, down to our left, out of the tunnel, led by that offensive line, who are going to be much studied, much discussed, maybe much maligned by the end of today with all the changes they've had. Alan Thielen and Jonathan Grenard lead the team all the way down from left to right into the Browns end zone and take a knee in front of that huge single raking Tottenham stand in front of us. There is a lot of celebration of football here as well. Like we saw Grant Delpit doing some keepy-uppies before the game. There was plenty of Spurs chat. I know some of the players made it to Chelsea-Liverpool yesterday, to Arsenal-West Ham as well. So, they love their sport just as much as the people listening, and they've been loving immersing themselves in the culture over the course of this past week. The reaction to the Vikings mixed. Few boos, few cheers. I think what I'm kind of hopeful for, and I'm not saying this in any way as a Cleveland Browns fan, some of the things their organisation and decisions they've made over the past 10 or so years are not things I'm a huge fan of, but we love an underdog in this country. We love to get behind a team. They're 1-3 right now going into this game, and I feel like the neutrals in this crowd might start to get behind them if they give us some good football. Yeah,
I think when you see Dillon Gabriel come out, you see a player's first start, you kind of want to be part of the folklore of a player's career. It would be fun if Dillon Gabriel came out overseas facing the most creative defense in pro football and went out and diced the thing up. Wouldn't that be something to see?
On that very point then, Dillon Gabriel, 5'11", we saw him on the screen, diminutive, but absolutely ripping the ball in pre-game practice. And I'm never sure, how much nerves, how much adrenaline there is involved in that. His arm's probably feeling as live as he's ever felt in his life as he's getting ready for his first NFL start. 63 starts in college, 64 games total. As much as there's some questions over his size and his capability from a physical perspective in the NFL, you'd like to hope that all the functional stuff will work today. He will be ready to run Kevin Stefanski's offense.
You would hope so. It's a dramatic change coming from the Oregon offense, which is a really spread-out college-style offense, into Stefanski's, which is heavy personnel, under center, play action, all the stuff that we see in the pro game. So it might be a bit of a challenge early on, getting in and out the huddle and all the things he's got to get used to. And then he's got to see the defense, and he doesn't know what he's going to see with Brian Flores.
The Cleveland Browns, the dog pound is let loose and leading this team out as the fireworks ring out around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Plumes of orange smoke billowing through the sky, and David Njoku, their absolutely giant tight end, 85, streaming across the field with that Cleveland Browns helmet logo running from end zone to end zone and waving the flag in front of the fans, encouraging them to get on their feet and get loud here. Greg Newsome alongside him out there as they take a knee now down in that Cleveland Browns end zone. And yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it, Ollie.
And here comes Njoku. That's going to be one of the most important plays in the game. The way to attack this Minnesota defense is to try and get the ball into the intermediate area of the field as quick as you can. And it's going to come down to Harold Fannin Jr. and David Njoku. Njoku's had a terrible start to the season, given what we've seen from him recent years. But he looks fired up today.
Yeah, undoubtedly. Harold Fannin, you mentioned, the rookie tight end coming in. He leads the team in receptions and targets right now. 17 receptions already this season. 8th most among tight ends this season. 4th most amongst all rookies. And that's it. I mean, I've got to imagine that Dylan Gabriel against that Brian Flores front, it's got to be get the ball out quickly and down those seam throws, which I feel like he can throw based on everything I saw from him in college.
Yeah, what Brian Flores wants to do is send pressure whilst keeping a lid on the defense. He keeps 4 guys back, he sends 5 or 6 up front. That just leaves a massive void in the field.
There you have it, Abby Burton on the big screen, the 2025 Women's Rugby World Cup champion, member of those Roses who won not far from here over in Twickenham just a couple of short weeks ago. Out here for the coin toss as the teams head to midfield and we wait for Scott Novak to come in on the call. We'll find out who will be starting with the ball. They're setting up for the anthems as well. We know that it's going to be Pixie Lott singing the UK anthem, and it's for the US, and I had to look this person up, I'm not going to lie. Nicky, Kimberly Nicole, she's a former Voice contestant, but I can't remember. Ollie Hunter sent us something in the group the other day. Apparently she is the denizen of rock and roll, is what they're selling her as, so we might be in for a fun version of the anthem today as we throw it down to Scott Novak.
Gentlemen, welcome to London. This is the coin for today. There's your heads, there's your tails. That's heads, that's tails. Good choice. Tails. Choice is tails. There's tails. Which way you want to kick? Minnesota won the toss, selected to defer. Cleveland will receive. Good luck.
So there we have it. First offense out onto the field as Minnesota elects to defer, having won the toss. We will be seeing Dylan Gabriel in his number 8, and immediately on the far sideline from us, you see him and Joe Flacco throwing the ball back and forth between them. A receiver out there as well, getting warmed up, helmet on. Final words from Kevin Stefanski as well. But first, a moment's silence for what happened in Manchester this past week.
Thank you.
2 people losing their lives in that attack in Heaton Park. And now the national anthems. First of all, Kimmy Nicky performing the national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner for the USA.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Kimberly Nicole for the national anthem
Now to
of the
sing
United
the
States.
national anthem of
And
the
now
United
multi-time
Kingdom.
Brit winner,
Please welcome English
Pixie Lott.
singer, songwriter, and actress Pixie Lott.
God save our gracious King. Long live our noble King. God save the King. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the King.
And now the plumes of smoke and the fireworks above the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It really is unbelievable to see these occasions. As we look to our right-hand side and you see the cockerel above the stadium on that side, the names of Osi Umenyiora and Jared Allen in the NFL Ring of Honor for the international games here. I saw Osi pre-game, pumped to be back here in London. And that means it is now game time. Miles Garrett on the big screen, smashing some kind of guitar over a speaker. And in fact, here comes Browns legend Joe Thomas to do just that with the Browns in London. He is today's dog pound captain, as it tells us on the big screen. Pulls out a purple and gold guitar with the Minnesota Vikings logo on the front of it, swings it round in the air like he's in the Who, and then smashes it over the speaker. Absolutely sensational from Joe Thomas as he tosses it up in the air. And we get ready for this one to get underway. Ollie, final thoughts ahead of this game with the Browns offense going to be first out onto the field?
They could do with Joe Thomas on the field today. That would help. Maybe we bring him in from hitting the guitar. I think this first drive is going to be fascinating. Stefanski traditionally uses the opening drive to try and find some information on the defense. How are they going to address me versus different personnel groupings, different formations? I think you've got to throw that out today. You've got a rookie, you've got Brian Flores. I would try and take an early shot, maybe some kind of trick or gadget play to spark things off, and expect a lot of pocket movement to try and get Dylan Gabriel on the move.
Will Rijkaard stepping up and getting ready to kick this one away. Scott Novak, today's official, alongside him, tells him it's time to get things going. Back to receive the kickoff. Jerome Ford is back there alongside him to receive the kickoff. I think that's Dylan Sampson, the young running back, and it falls short of the landing zone around the 23-yard line. Went for a knuckleball, and that will come all the way out to the 40-yard line, and that's where Dylan Gabriel will take his first snaps in the NFL.
He will, and we expect him to try and power away with the run game, right? That's how people have got after the Vikings this season. Not very good or effective against their run. They're one of the best pass defense in the NFL. I expect we'll see a lot of Quinton Judkins to open up.
So that much vaunted Vikings defense making their way out onto the field. Can't wait to see the wrinkles that they're going to throw at Dylan Gabriel as he gets into the huddle for the first time ever. Late man onto the field in the form of Harold Fannin Jr., but they do break the huddle, and Gabriel will start in the gun. Running back alongside him is Quinton Judkins. Sends Fannin in motion from right to left. Big noise from this stadium. Potentially a lot of Vikings fans are checked at the defensive line as they show 4, and it will be a rush on first down. Quinton Judkins coming back to the right hand side, picking up maybe 3 on that one, as I'm delighted to welcome in to the call alongside myself and Ollie Connolly. Gregg Rosenthal from NFL Daily is here. Greg, first impressions of being back at Tottenham?
Well, I'm exhausted. I just ran from the field before the game. Hopefully Quinton Judkins, who's been one of the better young running backs in the league since he's come into the lineup, can run as well as I just did.
They give him 4 in the end, 2nd and 6. It'll be ball at the 44. Sampson in the gun, calls Fannin in motion again and again, goes to Judkins up the middle, out to, on that NFL logo, maybe picks up another 4 on that one. A flag comes in late on the play. It's going to go holding against the offense, and that's going to bring them back. And kind of mistakes you've got to be avoiding early on in the game. It's going to be all about the trenches, Ollie.
Yeah, this is disaster territory for the Browns. You cannot move backwards against Brian Flores. If you give him time and you give him a chance, he's going to send all the heat after you, and it's going to be tough for Dylan Gabriel to figure out who's coming and who's dropping.
So they'll be moving the ball back to the 34-yard line for a 2nd and 16 now. I mean, I want early impressions of the rookie quarterback, but he's yet to have to do anything but hand the ball off at this point. The mesh points look fine, guys. That's what I'll say on the first 2 snaps of the game, as he does break the huddle. Back in the gun again, Junkins alongside him, 2 receivers to the right, including Jerry Jeudy, 1 receiver to the left, sends a man in motion again, goes in a little orbit motion around the back, fakes the handoff, fakes the screen as well, instead goes over the middle, out to the 40, down to the 45-yard line, out to about the 48-yard line. David Njoku picks up all that yardage back and more. Ends of the 3rd and 3. Theo Jackson in on the tackle.
Saw David Njoku on the field before the game without his shirt on. He looks like he's bulked up a little bit this year. He already looked great without his shirt on. Off, I don't know if I've ever actually seen it on with him, but that's key for them.
I was saying I saw him in the queue for credentials at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and he had his shirt off then. So just goes to show. This time, for the first time today, Dylan Gabriel comes under centre, brings his tight ends back in line for a heavy set. 2 receivers on the outside, running back in the backfield is Quinton Junkins again. Fakes the handoff. Gabriel back, throws over the outside of the numbers, past the 40-yard line, and well over the head of his receiver Isaiah Bond in the area. But that will be a 3 and out after a nice pickup on 2nd down. It'll be 4th and 4 from the 46.
Yeah, you look at that play, they blocked it up well. They trusted Gabriel to throw the ball on 3rd down. They saw the blitzer coming, but ends up sailing. It was well covered.
Yeah, and the Vikings playing man coverage on that snap, which is not something they usually do. It's a tell. The Browns have faced more man coverage than any unit this league on offense, and I think it's because people don't respect their receivers.
Corey Bajorquez back to punt from around the 36-yard line. High, spiraling punt inside the 10. Fair catch called by the rookie Miles Price. And out comes Carson Wentz and this makeshift offensive line for the first time today for the Minnesota Vikings. 4-0 internationally before last weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers gave maybe a little bit of a demonstration of how to beat the Vikings defense with how big they got up front. Let's see what the offense can do as we try and piece together exactly what this offensive line is going to look like on the first snap of the game. Darasaur definitely in at left tackle. It looks like it is going to be Joe Hoover in at left guard, with Blake Brandel playing as the center. Justin School in on the right side alongside Will Fries. So there we go, the line that we did expect, with Carson Wentz coming under center. First down, first and from the 8-yard line. Wentz, the centre, sends a man in motion. Jalen Naylor instead goes into the gut, cutting out to the right-hand side. Outside the numbers, down to the about 18-yard line. Nearly a first down pickup. Gets about 9 on the play, on the carry. Jordan Mason. And that'll be a 2nd and 1 from the 18.
That's everything for the Vikings today, to have a running game. This Browns defense has actually hit running backs in the backfield at a higher rate than any team in history since Next Gen Stats has kept it. So if they can run the ball, that's going to make life a lot easier.
Wentz now in the gun, running back alongside him. 2 receivers left, 2 tight ends on the right-hand side of the line. The Browns showing run blitz. Mason gets it up the middle, outside the 20, down to the 24-yard lines, right on the hash mark, and that will be a Minnesota Vikings first down. They're marking him down at the 22. First down, Minnesota.
And the Browns recognize what Greg said. They're selling out to try and stop the run early. They're sending extra hats to the party. They know if they get Carson Wentz behind the chains, they can tee off with their 4-down rush, and that's going to be problems for Minnesota.
I love doing this with Ollie because I can just do the corny stuff. A guy doesn't have his shirt on, he can do all the X's and O's.
Myles Garrett lining out incredibly wide on these formations. He's outside the tight end on this. Adam Thielen goes into motion, so he's going to need help on that side as Garrett does beat his man. Gets out to Wentz, but instead goes to Hockenson on the little dump off. Out to the 29, down to the 30, right on the numbers. Picks up about 9 on that first down. They essentially let Myles Garrett through as a free rusher. Passed it off to the man who was in to chip him, and that's a nice pickup on first down.
You see that a lot with the offenses that go against Myles Garrett. Almost everything is either running away for him or letting him be free because they don't want to deal with this guy.
Yeah, and you got to make these corners tackle in space. That's what the Vikings tried there. Greg Newsom, Denzel Ward, good cover corners. Both of them struggle coming down to fit the run.
Vikings line up then at the 31-yard line. This time Wentz under center. It's got Jefferson in a wide motion. In fact, he's going in, lining up in the backfield behind Jordan Mason. They fake the handoff to Mason, go on a little dump off to Jefferson, out to the 35, down to the 40, outside the numbers to the 42-yard line. First down, Minnesota Vikings. First touch today for Justin Jefferson. Jerome Baker in on the tackle.
Really creative work from Kevin O'Connolly, puts Jefferson in the backfield, does completely out-leverage the Browns defense. Jerome Baker can't scrape across, and it's just an easy pickup.
11 yards for Justin Jefferson. His first catch of the day, and the Vikings moving the ball nicely. Couple of first downs early doors. Even with that makeshift offensive line, getting the ball out quickly, doing some creative stuff. Wentz in the gun, Mason alongside him. He's got Jefferson split out wide left. Pair of receivers to his right. Stamps his foot, calls out a check, waits for the ball. Stammy will hold it in the pocket. He will go for Jefferson deep. Pass the ball down to the 85-yard line. They almost hauled in by Justin Jefferson. Is there going to be any laundry on the play? Because certainly Jefferson believes that Greg Newsome was all over him, but nothing from the line judge down there. And that'll be a 2nd and 10.
There was a lot of contact on that play. A lot of contact.
It felt like Jefferson was trying to come back for the ball. Got a lot of contact, went down. Newsome was picked on last week. I like the no call there, actually.
So they'll line up for a 2nd and 10 from the 42. It's under centre this time. He's got a full-back and Jordan Mason in behind him. Naylor to the left. And Justin Jefferson to his right, hands the ball off to Mason, up the gut, out to the 45, rumbles maybe. Ball is out, ball is down. Browns are indicating they have it. Fumble on the play. Have the Browns come up with it? They're going to have to unpick the pile here for Cleveland, but everyone in the brown jerseys and the orange helmets indicating that this is going the other way. We're waiting to see the play back on our monitors here, but every single Cleveland Brown is convinced they've got it, and they do. Jordan Mason putting the ball onto the ground, and the man coming away from the pile with it is safety Grant Delpit for the Cleveland Browns. We said this was going to be a turnover and defense-heavy game, and a huge play early doors for Cleveland, Greg.
Exactly what the Vikings offense can't do there. I want to see that shot again. It's like Greg Newsome actually heard Ollie that he can't tackle. He was the first one in on that play. Not sure who knocked it loose, but that is massive, setting up the rookie quarterback with the short field.
Issue for Kevin O'Connolly, tries to challenge the corners in the run game, and immediately they come up and make a play.
Absolutely massive. So Grant Delpit, I'm trying to see if he was the one in on the fumble. I know he recovered the ball, but that was an absolute pile of players surrounding that. So absolutely zero idea who it was who ended up getting on the end of it. F.A. Abada's just turned up in the booth alongside us, by the way. Hey, Ollie Connolly, let's get F.A. in on the call for a minute, why not? The great Ollie Connolly, double checking with him to make sure he's happy giving up his headset. Gregg Rosenthal here as well. Ollie's had to talk to me for like 45 minutes already. I'm sure he's happy to step off for just a moment, so I'm delighted to say that NFL defensive end and a massive human being, F.A. Abada, has joined us at the side. Ever, you were down there on the sideline pre-game. You heard this crowd here in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Like, NFL's back in London. It's a beautiful thing.
Of course, honestly, this is amazing. There's 3 London games I've had the pleasure of attending. The first one was, before I started playing. The second one was I actually played in the London game, and this is my 3rd London game as well. So yeah, so this is amazing.
Was that when you were with the Panthers?
That was when I was with the Panthers. Yes.
I was at that game.
You were?
And you guys got a W.
We did. Did you hear everybody chanting my name at the end?
That was an amazing moment, yes.
It's a beautiful thing. I've now seen a replay which actually shows us it was Greg Newsome in on the tackle who forced the fumble. Grant Delpit falling on the ball, so the defensive backs combining for the turnover. F.A., look, it's a defensive end. Yes. We've got 2 great defensive fronts in this game. You've got to be excited about watching.
This is definitely going to be a defensive game, and coming off especially for the Vikings, having lost so many of their offensive linemen. If I was a defensive Brown, I would be, feasted. This is a game I'd want to play.
We saw it on the early down with Myles Garrett on T.J. Hockenson, where they basically just left him as a free rusher and went for the dump off. They basically went, Myles Garrett, we're not going to stop you, so we're just going to try and scheme around you. Like, they're essentially admitting you're too good for us, so what can we do to take you out of the game?
I've been in transition, so I haven't been able to watch the game, but you definitely have to know where Myles Garrett is at all times. You definitely have to get a tight end over him, maybe get the backs chipping on his way out, just something.
Right, Dylan Gabriel comes out under centre to start this drive from the 47. Hands off Juggins, backs outside the numbers, down to the 40, out to the 45, along the sideline, down to the 20, down to the 15, bumped out of bounds in the end, but a huge pickup on first down. Eric Wilson across on the tackle, and Quinton Juggins with a massive pickup on that first down. They're in the red zone.
It's really not complicated what you want to do against this Brian Flores defense. They are vulnerable against the run. They're so good against the pass that you can expect to see a lot of Quinshon Judkins today.
No, I agree. You know, you got a young run quarterback, so just get the run game going and just make it easier for him.
Dylan Gabriel now in the gun. Judkins alongside him, a 32-yard pickup for the rookie running back there at the 15. Heavy line to the right with Njoku lined up alongside 3 receivers stacked to the left. And they will hand the ball off to Judkins up the middle, down to the 10, out to the 8, right on the hash, down to about the 6-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Tackle down just before the line to gain. Josh Metellus in on the tackle, but they're just a yard away from first and goal.
I love the way Quinshon Judkins runs, and you know who agrees with me? Kevin Stefanski. The first week that he showed up, he practiced for the first time on Thursday, got almost all the snaps on Sunday, and since then, he has been one of the most productive backs in the entire league. Love the patience and the explosion.
They're going to call it a 2nd and 2 from the 7. Gabriel under center, stumps his foot, sends a man from right to left, fakes the handoff to Judkins, has options in the end zone, goes over the middle, and it is broken up. Sensational play from Byron Murphy Jr., absolutely plastering his receiver. The intended target on that one, Isaiah Bond, and it'll be 3rd and 2 from the 7. FA, what do you see?
I mean, honestly, I know I'm supposed to be talking about the sport, but I'm just enjoying the atmosphere. And I'm enjoying your description in my ears. Oh, you're just making this game come to life.
It's a beautiful thing, man.
It is something about this stadium. Just the colors are popping. The crowd is awesome today. A Vikings-heavy crowd, hoping they get a stop.
I agree.
So Harold Fannin lining up as a fullback. Offset. Judkins gets the ball, bounces outside the 10, gets a blocker, has to spin, down and gets about a yard on the play, ran about 15 to get it, only picks up a yard, and now it's going to be 4th and 1 from the 6, and a decision to be made by Kevin Stefanski, who looks like he's leaving his offense on the field. Do you like the call, FA?
I do. I think you go for it. You know, early in the game, just be aggressive, set the tone for this game.
Additional offensive linemen making their way out onto the field. Tevin Jenkins coming in as a 6th lineman on this play. Fannin and Njoku both in there as well. He's declaring as eligible. They're set up with 2 offset backs. It goes to Judkins over the 5-yard line, down to the 4, and it'll be a first down, Cleveland, 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. They got heavy with big boys up front.
Great call. They've been struggling with the run, so why not go for it?
The 2 tight ends, Fannin and Njoku, they use Fannin as a fullback. Their offense is really around those 2 guys and how Quinshon Judkins works off of it. I mean, the Vikings are having to make great plays to slow him down. For the most part, the offensive line is winning.
We saw this from Pittsburgh last week, how they got big against Minnesota. That's how they handled their creative blitz, their creative pass rush, and so far we're seeing it again with 2 tight ends lined up to the right. Fannin moving from right to left, in alongside Gabriel. In the backfield is Jerome Ford. The ball goes to Ford, down to the 3, out to the 2, tackled right down around the 1-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Theo Jackson in on the tackle, Eric Wilson in there as well, as they pick apart the bundle of bodies, and it'll be 2nd and goal from the 2.
Quinshon Judkins enters the game now for Jerome Ford. He was a little winded, but watching that run, I was thinking, man, if Judkins had the ball there, they score.
6 of 48 already for Judkins with that long of 32. I'd be winded if I ran 32 yards at any point in my life, let alone if I had to get the ball again. As Gabriel is under centre, Judkins behind him in the backfield, sends a man in motion and fakes the handoff, has options. Fannin on the goal line. Touchdown, Cleveland.
It is all about the tight ends or the fullbacks in this offense, and Harold Fannin, he can do it all.
Absolutely just tiptoeing right along the front of that end zone into the front left corner, and he was wide open as Dylan Gabriel hit him for 6, FA.
What a great drive. I love that run game. Just opens up everything from that play action. Great drive.
You get the ball on the turnover right around midfield, and Dylan Gabriel has his first touchdown as an NFL quarterback as they set up for the extra point. Andre Schmidt. Ball is down, hold is good, kick is up, and kick is good. And the Cleveland Browns, with 6:49 left in the first quarter, find themselves 7-0 up on the Minnesota Vikings. They take the turnover, they turn it into a touchdown. Huge early win for Cleveland, Greg.
Yeah, you watch that touchdown call. Eric Wilson in coverage, the linebacker on Fannin. It looks like initially like he's not sure if Fannin's going to be a blocker, where that game is going to go. To FA's point, he's so keyed in on the run that just provides a little hesitation, and Fannin Jr. gets open.
Jamari Thrash, who's in as the game as a 3rd, 4th wide receiver on that play, drags drags his player off the line. It was Byron Murphy Jr. who should have been out in coverage on that side. Instead, he follows his wide receiver in, and it just left an absolute hole on that side of the line. Are you being dragged away from us already?
I am being dragged
That's
away.
absolutely fine, sir. Where are we seeing you on TV later today, the rest of this week? Like,
So-
you're everywhere, sir, and I love it.
So I have the privilege of being in the commissioner's box today. I'm going to be watching the game. I'm going to be watching the game with him, and then later on I will be on Sky covering the Eagles versus Broncos game.
I imagine he's going to be picking your brain about rush, passing lanes and passages and like
I'm gonna show him some
scheming, and that's fine. We'll get some overloads going.
I mean, go to your fancy commissioner's booth. I'd rather be right here.
Thanks for
Brilliant
having me.
stuff. F.A. Abada joining us on the call here on talkSPORT 2. Ollie Connolly will come back across to join us. Thank you very much, sir. There's a lot of moving and shaking going on. Also going to be joining us during the game today. I know we've got Chris Carter coming up here a little later in the game, the legendary Vikings wide receiver. Phoebe Schechter is going to pop by and say hello at some point as well. We'll kick Greg off for that one. It's fine, Ollie, don't you worry. As it's me, Will Gavin, Gregg Rosenthal and Ollie Connolly alongside me for the Cleveland Browns against the Minnesota Vikings. Ollie just coming into the game. What a designed drive that was from the Cleveland Browns.
Everything they're looking for, right? Points off turnovers, smashing the ball down the face of the Vikings, who just struggle again with violence in the middle of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we were talking about it before the game, too. Everything about this Browns offense is really off of Fannin and Njoku, and when it's not working, it shows up. Like, they're the heaviest, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends on the field, but when they get the run game going like that, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
It's beautiful, and then that's when the play action can come in. You can see already that layering things in the game plan to be able to get Gabriel on the move more. As the Vikings start having to close in and shut down this run game, they're starting to show their hand a little that we're going to start getting Gabriel rolling out the pocket, and then that's when we'll get the play action shots over the Vikings' heads.
Andre Smith sets up for the kickoff. Our second kickoff of the day, the first of which went short of the landing zone, as we're enjoying our sideline reporters, including Joe Thomas and Rondé Barber, loving a little bit of Queen. Ball received right around the 4. It's Miles Price to bring it out to the 20, 25. He's got a blocker in front of him, but it's hit right around the 22-yard line. There is a flag in on the play. Rayshon Jenkins made the tackle, and it's going against the Minnesota Vikings, so they're going to be starting this drive even deeper. It's a penalty given against the Minnesota Vikings. That means they're going to be starting from right around, I think, the 19-yard line, 18-yard line. This is not what you needed. I mean, they were putting together a nice drive prior to the turnover.
But that drive and how it ended before they even got to the 50, I think, presents the problems. It's going to be very difficult for them to go on these long drives. It's a big field position problem for them starting here, because it's going to take them 6 first downs to get into the red zone.
Carson Wentz under center to start this drive. Running back in the backfield, 2 right, and Justin Jefferson. So left, he goes into the gut of his running back, gets out to the 25-yard line. Nice pickup on first down, around about 7. And we saw Miles Harden in on the tackle. We saw plenty of him last week. Xavier Scott back in the game. I won't lie, I didn't do a huge amount of prep on him last week because I didn't expect him to have the breakout game he had, but 6 receptions and now a carry today. He's back there again with Wentz under center. 2 receivers left in Thielen and Jefferson. 1 receiver right, I think it's Jalen Naylor, and there's going to be a flag on the play. Delay of game, is that against the Vikings?
False start.
False start.
Offense number 60. That's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Taking off that lovely chunk play, it goes against Joe Hoover, one of the backup guards in the game, and now back at the 20-yard line facing a 2nd and 8.
So they got up to the line of scrimmage quickly there, about 25 seconds left on the play clock, like trying to get more information, but that's the type of problem you run into with a brand new offensive line, making them wait so long for the snap.
It's a rookie, it's a backup. These issues are going to happen today as Thielen goes in motion from right to left. Handoff goes to Scott, out past the 21, down to the 22, but smothered by Myles Garrett and plenty more on that left-hand side. Picks up maybe a yard on the play, but it'll be a 3rd and 7 with 5:40 left in the first quarter.
Just quick penetration there from Myles Garrett on the backside of the play. You think you're running away from him, you're not running away from him.
I enjoyed, as that play happened, Greg just waved it off. Before he barely had the ball in his hand,
It was over. It was over.
So ball at the 21-yard line, 3rd and 7. Minnesota. Second drive of the game, looking to avoid a 3 and out. Brown showing pressure off the right-hand side of his line, and they bring it. Wentz with time in the pocket, finds Jefferson out the left side, out to the 30, down to the 35, out past the 36-yard line, a 15-yard pickup for Justin Jefferson. A first down to the Minnesota Vikings, and with that catch, Justin Jefferson becomes the leading receiver in international games history in yardage.
And the Browns are matching up on Justin Jefferson, just one-on-one across the board. Wherever he goes, they just let the corner carry him. It was the nickel that time. They're not sending Denzel Ward tracking Justin Jefferson all over the formation.
So big first down pickup, ball at the 36-yard line. Wentz under center, still with Xavier Scott in behind him, sending Naylor from left to right. 3 receivers to his right. Fakes the handoff to Scott, looks for a deep shot. Naylor slips as the ball goes out in his direction. Gregg Newsome in on the coverage, that'll go incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Great call there, Will. The slip killed Carson Wentz's chances. You know, on that 3rd down, it supports one of the softest takes I have, which is that Carson Wentz has played pretty well the last couple weeks. And that was a difficult throw. It took some anticipation to the outside. He trusted Jefferson, made it happen. Similar type of throw there to Naylor, just the receiver slipped.
Myles Garrett coming off the left-hand side of that line. He lines up on the right, 84% I think of the time this year, but looking to get him up on the backups on that side, and they did a pretty good job blocking him up on that last play as Hockenson comes in line and Naylor goes across the formation. Wentz takes the snap in the gun, fakes the handoff, goes to Jefferson for a quick throw out to the 45, down to the 49-yard line, thrown to the ground by Gregg Newsome, but gets all the way out to they mark it the 48-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings, and that'll be another first down, and Justin Jefferson is cooking.
An excellent read from Carson Wentz, and now when it's the first time the Browns tried to double Justin Jefferson, he just cuts and slips on the side of the coverage, and Wentz is able to find him.
So right on the L of that NFL logo at midfield here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Minnesota Vikings in that resplendent all white. Playing from right to left as we're watching it. Wentz in the gun again. He's got Scott in alongside him. He sends Hockenson in motion this time. 2-step drop back, finds Jefferson out to that side. Contact from Newsome is physical as the ball gets to the catch point, but it sailed over his head, and that'll go out of bounds. 2nd and 10 at the 48.
Yeah, right when I talk him up, he just misses by a good amount on an out route where he had a chance. You know, Christian Darrisaw, their left tackle, ends that play on the ground. I'm curious, Ollie, what you've seen from Darrisaw the last couple weeks.
Darrisaw doesn't look quite like himself. I don't think he's as springy or as explosive as usual. They need him desperately in this game to hold up.
Penalty called against the Vikings. They flashed up offside on the screen, but I assume...
First down, 15.
Well, they're not going to confirm what it is. Anyway, the ball's back at the 43, and it's now 1st and 15, as you heard the stadium announcer say. Carson Wentz under centre. Xavier Scott in the backfield alongside him. Hockenson is in a little orbit motion, gets the ball back, and he looks to Hockenson out at the 45, outside the numbers 47. Picks up what they lost on the penalty, and it'll be 2nd and 10 from around the 48-yard line. Basically the same position they were before the penalty and before that down.
Yeah, it would be great for this offense to start getting T.J. Hockenson a little more involved. Been very quiet over the last 4 weeks, really the whole start of the season.
And I love what Gregg Newsome is doing. He is up for this fight. It is him one-on-one with Justin Jefferson on something like 70% of the snaps so far, and he's going mano-a-mano with him.
13 for 115 on the season so far, TJ Hockenson, but definitely more of a feature piece so far today. Naylor coming in line behind Hockenson. It's a faked handoff from Wentz, who looks to Naylor out of the 40, down to the 35-yard line, down to the 32-yard line of the Cleveland Browns, whipped to the floor by Ronnie Hickman. But it's another first down, Minnesota into Cleveland Browns territory for the first time today.
They come back right at Newsome. He's all amped up. He's got his eyes in the backfield. He's peeking. They slip Jalen Naylor behind him for an easy pickup.
The Ollie Connolly curse, because suddenly I'm just watching Newsome because Ollie told me to. And yeah, he was moving with Naylor and got too excited about the play fake there.
Marked down at the 32-yard line in the end, then 1st and 10 Minnesota, 2:40 left in this first quarter. And the snap looks like it's going to be taken direct snap on this call. Ball over the top to the tight end, out to 16, down to the 10, down to the 5. Touchdown, Minnesota Vikings! The trickery to Josh Oliver. The throw over the middle from the running back. Sensational little trickery from Kevin O'Connell. And that'll be a Minnesota Vikings touchdown. They give us a little shake and bake, a little something fancy. And yeah, didn't expect that today.
We thought we may see one early. These two teams are going to try and gamify the offense, find some way to build in explosive plays, and there we go.
I love that. I believe it was Cam Akers there with a touchdown throw, and that was the easiest throw Cam Akers will ever have. It might be the only throw he's ever had.
Well, Reichard sets up for the extra point. It's up, it's through the uprights. Let me just check my Cam Akers stat sheet to check if he's ever had a touchdown in his career. No passing touchdowns so far, according to this. He's got one today to the backup tight end, Josh Oliver. 7-7, 2:30 left in the first quarter. A fun one for you at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, live here on talkSPORT 2. Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT to a fun first quarter here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They looked at this game. They said 2-2 against 1-3. They said backup offensive linemen. They said rookie quarterbacks. They said there's no way this is going to be a great game. And already we have a really fun one. Minnesota on the second drive of the game, turning the ball over. Jordan Mason fumbling it. The Cleveland Browns driving down for the Harold Fannin touchdown. And then Carson Wentz takes the Vikings down the field before Cam Akers throws a touchdown to Josh Oliver. I don't think anyone had that on their bingo card for today. And I'm delighted to say that here on talkSPORT 2, where, as well as listening to us on the talkSPORT app, DAB, and via the talkSPORT website, we are live on the talkSPORT USA YouTube. Check us out there. Will Gavin, Gregg Rosenthal, and now joining us, European champion, wearing her gold medal, Phoebe Schechter's with us. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you guys so much for having me. I feel like I'm missing my talkSPORT family. Greg joined us the other day. Now I feel like I'm a guest in your home, so this is wonderful.
Got to do the home and home. Got to do the home and home. Just show off the medal to the camera. This is the reason people tune in.
That's amazing.
Wearing the absolutely sensational shirt top as well, like representing flag football. We'll talk a bit of that, I'm sure, coming up shortly. But in the meantime, we're set up for a Browns drive. And, well, Dylan Gabriel, he's done everything that's been asked of him so far. Greg, do we want to see him mixing something up in this drive? Maybe hitting some of those seam routes that we know he's so good at, as Reichard hits the ball out, gets inside the 10. It will be brought out by Jerome Ford, out to the 20-25, down to 30. Gang tackle right around the 34-yard line by the Minnesota Vikings, a yard or two short of the 35, and that's where Dylan Gabriel will start this drive, Greg.
Don't think we need to see much more than what he's done, because they're running the ball so well. It reminds me a lot of watching this Vikings team a week ago, the heavy personnel against them, and they're getting pushed around.
You're so spot on, and I think that's what's so important when you've got a young quarterback in there. The run game is just an extension of the pass game essentially for him, and just alleviates some of that pressure.
Gabriel is under center, running back in behind him. This time is Ford, goes off to the right-hand side of the line, barely makes it back to the line of scrimmage. Sorry, it was Quinton Junkins, loses maybe a yard on the play, and that'd be second. They're calling it second and 10. Feels like a generous 10 from the 34-yard line.
And I think when you're in that heavy personnel, you're in those condensed formations, sometimes this is where that Vikings defense truly comes to life.
You'd like to think so after last week. Need a little bit more against those heavy sets, and they've done it again with two tight ends to the left of the formation. Judy lined up on the right. It's going to be a straight drop back for Gabriel. Roll out to the left, finds his running back over the middle, down to the 40, out to outside the numbers on the 40-yard line. It was Byron Murphy in on the tackle. Dylan Sampson, the fellow rookie running back, in on the catch.
So we've seen all three Browns running backs. They've mostly counted on Quinton Junkins, but Sampson, he's a slippery receiver who's good on passing downs. And now it's what Kevin Stefanski did not want. 3rd and 5 against this Brian Flores defense.
First catch of Dylan Sampson's career, and he's in there in the backfield again. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, and Njoku in on the play as well. Fannin split out wide left. Gabriel straight drop back. Fires out looking for Fannin, right around the first down marker, reaches out under the tackle of Jeff Okuda, and that's going to be a Cleveland Browns first down.
It's great to see this because the Vikings brought 5 years. They're starting to play with that offensive line. They're sending the different stunts through there. And to have this young rookie be able to just throw the ball to the sticks in a reliable receiver's hand, this is huge. You want to keep this drive alive, especially with the way the Vikings offense has played so far today.
Phoebe Schechter and Gregg Rosenthal alongside myself, Will Gavin, as Dylan Gabriel comes under centre from initially being in the gun, has a fullback in Harold Fannin. Behind him, it's Quinchon Junkins in the backfield. 1 receiver to the left, and the ball will go into the gut. Junkins, who makes 1 cut, out to the left, out to the 45, down to 50, space in front of him, 40, 30, 35, 20, 25, no one's going to catch him, 10, 5, touchdown, Cleveland Browns, but there is a flag on the play, and I think that one's coming back. I thought we had ourselves another moment, Greggy.
I thought so too. When Quinchon Junkins gets out the gate, you got to just let him go. Grow the game. No penalties on a big play like that.
Phenomenal work. And also, I must give you credit. The play that you both called last week was amazing.
The offense. Holding. Offense number 16. That penalty's declined. Holding. Offense number 44. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Harold Fannin and Isaiah Bond, 2 rookies, both holding on that run. It has to be said, it is easier to spring a big run if you are going to be making illegal holds on the outside, Phoebe.
You know, that is a good trick to the game. We should be actually coaching that more often.
But you say it like experienced receivers, experienced corners, like they know how to get those grabs in. They know where the judges compare to them. They know where they can get a little handsy and a little not. Like they have that sense to them, right? And maybe 2 rookies not quite sure how to get away with it.
Good job by Byron Murphy selling that hold. Not sure about the second one, but as long as he got one of the calls right, I'm okay.
So that moves them back to 1st and 20 from the 34. Dylan Sampson in motion, Jerome Ford in 21 personnel. Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. Sampson's there. They're going to rule it incomplete, but it was tipped, and I thought maybe, just maybe, that would go down as a fumble, but it's just forward, and they do rule it down. So 2nd and 20 at the 34. Going with the screen game there makes some sense. You can to pick up some of that penalty yardage, but is it time to maybe take a shot, Greg?
I mean, you're just begging to take a shot.
Yeah, I just want some deep ball.
I've been impressed. Dylan Gabriel's getting the ball out quick. He knows where he's going. I think that actually is going to help out this offensive line.
3 receivers to his left, Isaiah Bond plus the 2 tight ends, and he sends Bond in motion from left to right. Jerome Ford alongside him, straight drop back, under pressure. Gabriel finds his man out to the left-hand side. Is Fannin out to the 36, down to about the 38-yard line. 4-5 Vikings all around him, but a minimal pickup on that one. Gets maybe 4 on it, and that's going to be 3rd and 16. They're calling it 3rd and 15 from the 39.
I mean, this puts it in quite an unfavorable position right now. 3rd and 15 like this. You hope that they're able to get a bit of a chunk play, but even looking at the play before, the left tackle for the Browns just really struggling with some of the pressure and just the one-on-one matchups that they're ending up in.
Yeah, they made changes on their line this week. They brought Cam Robinson in, the journeyman tackle, to try and deal with the left-hand side of that line, but some of the issues up front as we get to the end of the first quarter. Cleveland Browns 7, Minnesota Vikings 7. We were talking about this being a 13-10 game before the game. We're already a good length of the way there, so I've got a feeling maybe it's going to be a little higher scoring than we expect. By the way, look how easily Phoebe just slips back into this. Her first job doing media was doing play-by-play on talkSPORT Radio 6-7 years ago, and it's like she's never been away.
I appreciate that, but when I've got 2 great teammates alongside of me, you make my job incredibly easy, and I feel honored to be back here with you both on talkSPORT. This is, I love radio. This is so much fun, and you can really feel the passion and energy of what's going on here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
We should mention that on the field right now, the former Liverpool and England striker, Peter Crouch, has the ball set at the 25-yard line, a 35-yard field goal attempt. It's obviously a sponsored thing that they are doing, and we saw an advert for it. I don't know if Peter Crouch has been warming up. We saw him down on the field pre-game watching the kickers, but I have no idea if he's even hit a practice kick at this point. And I don't think people underestimate how hard it is to hit a 35-yarder, Phoebe.
Oh, it is so challenging. And, you know, Peter Crouch is all limbs. So you're hoping he still has that good old kick, get that leg up high.
I was going to say, he's too tall to be a kicker. It just doesn't look right.
With the shoulder pads on as well.
Puts his foot through the ball. This could be good, you know.
Wow.
Just in over the post. Are they calling it wide? He's wheeling away disappointed, but Joe Thomas and Ronde Barber are celebrating. Was it that they were betting against him? I don't really understand what happened there, but I think it did go wide right, and that's going to be that. Phoebe, tell us about the Flag Football Championships, winning the Euros. Like, what a wonderful thing for you guys.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Back-to-back for Team Great Britain winning the European Championships. We just came back. It was literally a week yesterday that we won it out in Paris. Played Austria, and it was overtime in the final. We ended up winning by 1 point. So it's fantastic. Our whole team, you could see them dancing across the way in their blue jackets from the stadium straight ahead to No Broke Boys that's playing right now. It's our team song. It's really
I was going to say,
enlightening.
I saw you on TikTok doing a team dance to this, because I'm that kind of 40-year-old man who's watching flag football teams doing dances on TikTok. As the Browns do line up for this 3rd and 15 from the 39 to start the second quarter. Gabriel stomps his foot. There's going to be a false start called on the offensive line. It's left tackle Cam Robinson on that one. Phoebe, while they bring that ball back another 5 yards. Thank you so much to you. You've got to rush off and do TV now.
I do, I'm sorry.
But no, we appreciate you coming along and spending a little bit of time with us, and congratulations on the gold medal, and we'll look forward to watching you on our screens later.
Thank you, and I look forward to listening to all of this back and hearing your wonderful energy and voices. Have a great game.
Beautiful stuff. Gabriel in the gun. He's got Jerome Ford alongside him. Stomps his foot. Guard has to touch the centre, and there is a flag on it, but Gabriel goes over the middle to Njoku, out to the 45-yard line, right down the middle. It's going to still be 10 yards short of the marker to gain. Picks up maybe 10 on the play, but there is a flag. It's an illegal formation. Cam Robinson, back-to-back penalties, but that one with 10 yards still to go will be waved off by the Minnesota Vikings, and it'll be 4th and 10 with the ball right around the 46-yard line. Ollie Connolly back in with us on the call. Back-to-back penalties against Cam Robinson. You trade for him this week, you make him fly overseas. You know, maybe that's what's to be expected.
Yeah, I think it's only fair to think when you have as little sleep as he's probably had this week that he maybe will make some mental errors.
Corey Bajorquez is right around the 37-yard line as he sets up for this punt. Pressure up the middle from the Vikings, but he gets the ball away. High, arcing, spiraling kick right around the 20. It's going to land and go out of bounds on that far side. So the Vikings offense, after that thrilling drive they had to practically finish the first quarter, will be back out on the field. Carson Wentz put something fun and special together on the last drive. Can they do it again? You'll find out next up here on talkSPORT 2. Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT 2 here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where the Cleveland Browns coming into this game 1-3 are tied up 7 apiece with the 2-2 Minnesota Vikings. These two teams did face off once in London previously at Twickenham. a wonderful stadium, but not set out like this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is absolutely resplendent today. As Greg was saying, that orange and brown popping all around the stadium, plenty of purple in the stands as well, as the Minnesota Vikings look to get their drive underway, starting 1st and 10 with the ball at the 21 in those all whites, going from left to right as we're watching, and on the big screens. Encouragement to get loud. Is this disturbed? Yes, it is. There we go. It's difficult to hear on the on the headphones as well, but encouraging the crowd to scream, and they get involved. Absolutely love it. And with a giant Viking beard that I am incredibly envious on, and a high mohawk on the screen as well. Right, they break the huddle. We get ready from the 21. Wentz begins this drive under centre. Naylor left. Got 2 receivers to the right. Addison, for one of the first times we've seen him today, and Jefferson line up to the left. Naylor goes in motion, and it goes to Naylor on the sweep, out to the 25, out to the 30, down to the 34-yard line, where he's touched out of bounds by Grant Delpit. But nice opening play to this script, and the Minnesota Vikings first down right out around the 32-yard marker.
You can see it the way the Vikings are leveraging the threat of Justin Jefferson. They are in man coverage on him all the time, so they're using him to create space and then attack behind Jefferson.
Sorry, the guy on our side was at the 31, far side 35, and that's where they'll go from. We went under centre. Naylor in motion again, but this time it goes to Jordan Mason. Mason gets outside the numbers, nearly breaks one free, but is taken down. Carson Schwessinger, the rookie, in on the tackle, and that'll be about a 2nd and 8 around the 37-yard line.
Yeah, Mason has not been as good this year at like breaking tackles. Still a very solid running back. You get a feeling Kevin O'Connell is breaking out the good stuff. He knows he needs this game before their bye week, and a very challenging schedule after the bye week.
I was going to discuss that very point with you a little bit later on, because off the bye it gets very, very rough for the Vikings. They need to be going home 3-2. Because you might be questioning their playoff chances if they don't. Hawkinson in motion with Wentz in the gun, gets the dump off to Mason, just about holds on to the ball, gets back to the line of scrimmage, but a little bit of a bobble, and that'll be a 3rd and long now for the Minnesota Vikings. In on the tackle, Malik Collins.
Carson Schwessinger also involved in that play. Our guy, maybe our defensive rookie of the year so far, Ollie.
For sure. Now it's Myles Garrett time. Backed up 3rd and long. I think here comes Myles.
That's 3rd and 7 at the 38, looking like he's in a lineup on the right-hand side of that line. Sitting over, in fact, very wide again. Hawkinson out there, 2 receivers to the left as well. Running back in alongside him as Wentz calls for a motion on the outside. Stamps his foot, claps his hands, desperate to get the ball off. Good protection, gets time in the pocket, goes to Hawkinson over the middle. Flags in the backfield, the pass is incomplete, but that is in the area of potentially illegal contact or defensive holding.
Well, the quarterback was in the pocket. Illegal contact on the defense in the 26. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Confirmed. Miles Harden with the illegal contact downfield. And, well, I thought most importantly there, Wentz had time in the pocket.
Wentz had time, and this is what the Vikings are going to try and do. Is Harden is probably the weak link on the defense for the Browns, and if they're in so much man coverage, you're going to try and game it so you can get a one-on-one shot with him.
And you saw a little chip there on Myles Garrett before he got to Darrisaw. Darrisaw did a good job holding up that play.
So Wentz under centre. He's got full-back and running back in the backfield. 2 receivers, 1 left, 1 right, and he goes for a toss play. To the outside is Scott, out to the 45, down to around the 50-yard line. Picks up a huge amount of yardage on that first down, giving it about 8, maybe even 9 out to the 52-yard line, and that'll be a Vikings 2nd and 1.
The Vikings really trying to run to the perimeter. You don't see that an awful lot with Cleveland. The linebackers are so fast sideline to sideline. Garrett is such a concern coming up off the yard. So it's an interesting plan from O'Connell.
Garrett coming out of the game for this 2nd and 1, goes to the sideline. Doesn't look like it's anything to be concerned about. Just a bit of a different package up front. He can't play literally every snap. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka into the game. Wentz under centre. Running back in behind him. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Sends Addison in motion, fakes the handoff. Wentz looking for Addison downfield, steps up in the pocket, goes over the middle, looking for Justin Jefferson, and just overthrows him. Had him out there, and Denzel Ward on the coverage will claim that one, but I think that's just an overthrow from Carson Wentz.
Yeah, when he doesn't hit his first read, he tends to panic a little. I thought he did a good job that time. He started to run, then he sees the open receiver, but the mechanics get all wonky, and Here comes Myles Garrett back. I thought they might do some hurry up, but unfortunately the incomplete pass didn't allow them to.
Do what you can to keep him off the
Right.
field. Absolutely. Right, so it is going to be right at the 48-yard line, 3rd and 1. They elected to take the shot play on the 2nd and 1. Wentz gets under centre quickly, moving up, goes for a little toss play to the outside, and he's absolutely wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. Jordan Mason, Grant Delpit in on that one. Another 4 or 5 as well in on it. I think it's Isaiah Maguire in on the tackle as well, and they managed to force a loss, and it looks like a punt on 4th down.
And a huge missed opportunity on the 2nd down from Wentz. When Myles Garrett is off the field, there's an immediate alert. We're taking a shot. They go for the shot. He had a chance and he missed it.
Yeah, Delpit and Isaiah Maguire in on the tackle. Maguire wheeling away in celebration, and it is now going to be a Vikings punt. Ryan Wright sat right around the 36, steps up and booms a long one, end over end kick right around the 10-yard line. Fair catch will be called for down there by Jerome Ford, and that's where the Cleveland Browns at 7 apiece with 10:58 left in the first quarter will start their next drive. Live and exclusive NFL feed from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Him on talkSPORT 2.
This race sponsored by Gavin, official sponsor of the NFL.
Get it right now, but I don't know how to. Did you save? What is that way to get on the internet?
Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT 2. The band entertaining the crowd here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Is that actually the cast of Ted Lasso? It is the cast of Ted Lasso up in the stands. I was wondering if it was just a guy in some Ted Lasso gear, but Hannah Waddington, the whole load of them up there in the stands.
I love you both, but my highlight for the day is Jason Sudeikis coming up to me, looking at me in the eye and saying, "Nice to see you." I've never met him before. I don't know if it was a mistaken identity, but I'm just going to assume he's an NFL Daily listener. Let's go.
Hey, who isn't at this point? And that's a wonderful thing to hear. He is, I mean, you know, one of the nice guys in the world. Ted Lasso group having a whale of a time here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's try and get one of them up here, boys. Come on, I'm looking at the production team.
Well,
surely
we're tight now.
Yeah, I mean, come
Jason.
on, why don't you just slip Jason Sudeikis a little DM, Greg? 10:58 left in the second quarter. 1st and 10. The Browns have the ball on the 11. Vikings showing pressure off the left-hand side of the line. They do bring Metellus, but Gabriel gets it out quickly to the left to Harold Fannin. Picks up maybe 4 on the play, out to the 14-yard line. They'll call it 3, and that'll be 2nd and 7 from there.
I thought Dallas Turner, who made the tackle on that play and was pretty aware to go out with the tight end, has started to play better. First-round pick from a year ago, contributing more the last few weeks.
Yeah, he had a couple of tough plays last week. I felt like we called Dallas Turner's name in the wrong moments against the Steelers, but overall seeing a bit more play and having some big moments as well. Gabriel in the gun, 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left, running back alongside him, brings Fannin back in line, and that's where looks like a handoff. In fact, it's going to be a keeper. And Gabriel wrapped up right around the 10-yard line, taken down by Dallas Turner. He does have a big play in him, Gregg Rosenthal, as he proves, giving Dylan Gabriel his first sack in the NFL.
I love it when a disagreement is decided right away. Dallas Turner's got you.
There we go. Dallas Turner on the field, hearing us from all the way up here and going, well, Gavin, I'm going to prove you wrong.
Great awareness from Turner. That's what the Browns were setting up earlier. Is we're going to get to the quarterback run game when you don't expect it. Turner did expect it.
There you go, Gabriel with Ford alongside him in the backfield. The Vikings fans here in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium getting loud on this 3rd and 11. Big pressure being shown off the right side of their line, but they do drop out. Deep coverage to the left. That's where Gabriel is going to look. Gabriel is under pressure. Rushing up the middle. He's got space. Out to the 15. Out to the 20. Taken right around the 19-yard line. 2 yards short of the first down and in on the tackle. It's the man that Aaron Rodgers called a Hall of Famer last week. Harrison Smith saving the first down.
I like what Gabriel did, though. Kept his eyes downfield. He kept the play alive. He's slippery through the pocket. He's not really explosive. There's not breakaway speed, but he's slippery enough to scamper around and create some with his legs.
Yeah, that's a first down in college. A great tackle by Harrison Smith. I'm with you, Ollie. For the most part, when they've pressured him, and Grenard, I believe it was, got quick pressure on that play, he stayed pretty calm and made the right play. There just wasn't a better play to be made on that one.
So Corey Bahawk is back in for another punt. He's right around the 5-yard line. The Vikings line absolutely bouncing, looking to hunt on this one, but he does get the ball away. Left-footed kick, arching end over end, down to the 25. There is an instant flag on the play, but Miles Price will bring it out to 30, down to about the 32-yard line, where it's wrapped up and brought down right there by Rex Sunahara, but we'll see what the flag is on the play. Oh, if he can get his mic on, Scott Novak,
During
that
the
is.
return, holding, receiving team number 13. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
Hey, I've had plenty of occasions where my mic's not been turned on and I've just been talking into the ether. I understand it, Scott Novak. I truly do. So the hold against the receiving team will blow it for the Vikings and force them back to starting deep. This is maybe the game we were more expecting, gents. Maybe a bit of back and forth, some 3 and outs. The defense is showing up in a big way the last couple of drives.
They are, but interestingly, more coverage, I think, than the fronts. The lines have held up pretty well, given what they're both going up
That
against.
last foul was will enforced from the end of the kick.
That was very confusing because Joe Thomas and Rondé Barber are doing some kind of piece on the sideline. Scott Novak came back on the microphone to clarify what that penalty was against the Vikings, which has moved it back to the 14, but I couldn't really hear either, so we'll just assume it's all right.
You know, you have 2 of the best offensive play callers in the league. I do think Kevin Stefanski has been good over the years, adapting, doing more with less, and it does seem like both offensive play callers are doing a good job helping their quarterbacks out, helping their offensive lines out, and it's more of a balanced game than you would expect.
Hey, 3 AP Head Coach of the Year awards between them, Stefanski and Kevin O'Connell. As a little bit of Oasis rings out, does it bring a tear, Ollie Connolly, a little bit of home coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? Did you get to see them on tour?
Of course I did, at Heaton Park.
Yeah,
greatest night of my life. Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Oh, come on, you've got to give us more than that, because Greg turned down the opportunity to go and see them.
Shameful. Shameful. How can you not cry? You're stood next to your wife, you're screaming acquiesce, we believe in each other, we need one another with the boys?
Because the B-Sides album is the best album, of course, as we all know. Ollie Connolly, of course, choosing a B-side to shout out from his time seeing Oasis live. I saw them 3 or 4 times first time round. They were pretty good, but I mean, I'm more excited for Radiohead in November. That's my deal.
Bad Bunny's going to be great at halftime, but we couldn't get Oasis NFL. That would be perfect.
I'm excited for Bad Bunny, by the way. I think that's going to be sensational. Some people being a little bit sniffy about it. He's like the 2nd most streamed artist in the world. I think it's a great get for the NFL. We've got a halftime show coming up here, by the way. Ray turning up for the halftime show. Multi-time Brit winner. She's like 2nd to headline at Glastonbury. It's a big, big name. I'm excited about that one. I thought Miles Smith was great last week as well. See, we don't just do football chat. Pop music chat here on talkSPORT 2 as well. Let's hear the crowd. Give it a bit. Might not be acquiesce, but it's not bad, Ollie. There was a not safe for work moment on the big screens there involving a man's chest with Oasis blazoned on it that I won't go into as Carson Wentz comes out under centre, 1st and 10, starting from the 14, sends Jefferson in motion, hands the ball off in the backfield, thrown out to the 13, out to the 16. Nice extra little bit of push there for Xavier Scott, picking up maybe 3-4 on the play. and they're going to call it 2nd and 7 from the 17.
On Xavier Scott, since that fumble from Jordan Mason, I thought he's looked the part the last couple of weeks as a young running back.
Yeah, 6 receptions plus that touchdown in Dublin last weekend, and then getting opportunities again today. The guy they signed off the Colts practice squad, and he's there again in the backfield behind Wentz, who's under center. 3 receivers in a bunch to his left. Jefferson singled up to the right, and now he sends Josh Oliver, the touchdown scorer, from right to left. Fakes the handoff. He's got pressure in the backfield, rolls out to his left, looks for a man downfield, and just has to throw that one away, with Mason Graham and Myles Garrett hunting him in the backfield. A smart decision, but now a 3rd and 7 deep in Vikings territory.
An unbelievably tricky assignment for Jalen Naylor there. They just left him one-on-one in pass pro on the backside against Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett's been lining up super wide. That's not just me that's noticed that, right? Like, he's been over Hockenson, he's been over Naylor. Like, they're just like, I know your best left tackle's back in the game, so we're not going to even bother trying to match up on him. And now he comes over to this left-hand side, and he is going to be far wide on that left. Let's keep an eye on him on this 3rd and 7 as the Browns showing pressure off that left side. They do bring it, but there is a flag on the play. Wentz is under pressure, has to roll out to his right, down to the 10, throwing the ball deep downfield, pressure, and it's caught. Jalen Naylor to the 49. He's got a block up front, 40, 45, right into the hole. And Jalen Naylor with a huge play for the Minnesota Vikings, but there is a flag on the play. This could be coming back.
It looked like Garrett jumped.
I thought so. I thought it was offsides, but a lot of the offensive line have stayed back
There are
there.
fouls against both teams on the play. Offside, defense number 95. Holding, offense number 64. Those fouls were offset. They're down.
Blake Brandle, that's called on in the end for the Vikings. Offsetting penalty. I mean, play of the game so far, probably, outside of the trickery touchdown. And
the football gods just don't want Carson Wentz to have his moments overseas. Like, yes, last week, you know, you had Jordan Addison get tripped up right before the end zone on that potential touchdown. That was a fantastic play. Rolling out, got absolutely leveled, and he hits Naylor on a dime.
3rd and 7 then from the 17. Big down for this Minnesota Vikings. 7 apiece, 7:15 left in the game. Wentz stomps his foot to send a man. Xavier Scott, nice blitz pick up from him, and Wentz is going to run out to the 15, out to the 17, spin move, 20. Oh, he's just a yard short of the line to gain. Mason Graham eventually coming back to make the tackle, but Wentz with a little trickery of his own, a little spin move, nearly picking up the first down.
I can't believe we are living in a world where Carson Wentz is spinning past like NFL defenders and making them look bad. That defender, not sure who it was, it would be living through that. It was Schlesinger in the open field. Would have been hearing about that all week long, but ultimately short on the 4th down.
I suspect he might still hear about it all week long. I think they're going to show that one in the film room on Monday, or maybe Tuesday after they've got back. Punt from the 9. Big spiraling kick right down to around the 24-yard line, but it is going to be brought out inside. He's forced to go back in the opposite direction of the return, down to 25, and is wrestled to the ground. Did a lot of moving there to pick up only about 3 yards on the return. He'll be back out to the 27, and that'll be where the Cleveland Browns start their next drive. 6:14 remaining in the half. No score in this quarter. 7 apiece between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns, who bring you live and exclusive NFL action from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The first of 3 London games this year, the second of 6 European matchups. Live and exclusive on talkSPORT 2. I'm getting waved off from going to the break, so instead I'm going to have to come to you, Ollie Connolly, and see what you made of that.
I think this is a huge drive for Dylan Gabriel right here. I think Stefanski has already shown what the game plan is, and now we're into adaptability mode. And is he an adaptable player? Can he sit there and bounce through the reads with all these crazy funky rushes? The Vikings are going to start dialing up for him.
I think we were disappointed with the adjustments Flores made last week, but there are adjustments to be made again this week, as there's some communication issues in the back end of the defense. Ivan Pace screaming at the line in front of him, and Josh McTellar suddenly brought up to the line of scrimmage as Gabriel hands the ball off on a little end around, out to the 30, down to the 35-yard line, bundling over, out past the first down marker. Nice pickup of first down on the rushing play, and in on that one was the wide receiver. I'm going to make sure I get this one right in the end. It's Malachi Corey, the former New York Jets. We're seeing them throw everyone out onto the field
and
today.
the Browns have this amazing receiving goal where basically everyone's a gadget player. These are all gadget trick players, so they're unloading everything.
Dylan Gabriel under centre. I didn't expect to call him Malachi Corey's name too often today, but there we go. Gabriel under centre. Quinton Junkins in behind him, sending Bond from left to right, and will just hand the ball off to Junkins, who finds a hole and gets out to about the 39-yard line. Picks up 3 on the play. That'll be 2nd and 7 just inside the 40.
Yeah, you know Kevin Stefanski wants to get back to that kind of football. Generally, when they've just run conventional, straight-ahead running plays, they've done a good job getting pushed.
They're going to call it 2nd and 8 from the 39-yard line for the Cleveland Browns. Breaks the huddle. We got 2 tight ends on the left-hand side of the line and Isaiah Bond on that side as well. Single receiver to the right in Jerry Jeudy, yet to be targeted today. Quinton Junkins in the backfield and under centre. Dylan Gabriel stomps his foot, sends Bond in motion, fakes the handoff, has a little bit of time in the pocket, but forced to get up, and not a lot of time in the pocket as he's absolutely swallowed behind the line of scrimmage. Jalen Redmond, 2 sacks last week, in on this one as well. Javon Hargrave, Bo Richter, they're all meeting at the quarterback, and that's a big sack and a big play on that 2nd down.
That was a sack shared by the entire team. I think it was Tyrion Ingram Dawkins with early pressure on that. Basically, everyone won. It was more what I've been expecting to see from the pass rush of this Vikings.
So now 3rd and 13 at the 34. Vikings showing pressure and bring it. They bring 7 up front. Man on the back end. Gabriel to Jerry Jeudy. Out past the 50. Goes down at the 52-yard line. Some Vikings claiming that ball has hit the ground, but they are going to call it a 1st down to the Cleveland Browns.
It's an excellent decision-making from Dylan Gabriel. That's the first time we've seen Brian Flores say, I'm sending everyone, I'm dropping everyone else back out into coverage. And Gabriel, the ball looks like it hit the ground, but he was really quick with his eyes and he made a good decision.
Isaiah Rodgers just got Kevin O'Connell to throw the red flag. The second that play happened, Isaiah Rodgers was saying, it hit the ground, it hit the ground. They weren't listening to him. I don't think they ever got the replay. He just locked eyes with O'Connell on the sideline and continued to ask him, and O'Connell eventually threw that flag.
Yeah, flag on the ground right in front of the Minnesota Vikings bench. And Scott Novak confirms the timeout on the field, so we're just waiting to see this replay in front of us of the 3rd and 13.
The Browns have given the game away here. When you go hurry up, the Browns went hurry up. They tried to get a snap off the run and play. It's them saying, we know we didn't grab that one. Yeah,
I mean, Metellus and Barnett, they are absolutely convinced, Byron Murphy, that that's not a catch. And Jerry Jeudy, 4 drops already this season, 2nd in the NFL. This would tie him with Christian McCaffrey on 5 drops if this ball has hit the ground. I don't know.
It's tight.
From that, I think that's incredibly tight. Like, they are convinced that that's hit the ground, but I don't know. From the angle I've just seen then, it goes into the numbers. It's a very catchable ball. We just can't tell from the first angle whether or not it's a catch.
Well, I was going to say they had a better angle on it than maybe the officials will wind up getting because they're right behind it. But if we do not have a better view of it, they might have a hard time overturning it.
Waiting on the call. They are watching. They brought the tablet out onto the field. Scott Novak is now watching the play back. He's confirmed the call. Let's just see. Sorry, has he confirmed the call? Let's find out.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass.
Well, you've got to hand it to the Minnesota Vikings, and particularly Byron Murphy Jr., who told his head coach, get that red flag out. And it is overturned, and now a 4th and 13, and it's a drive killer as they were already down into Vikings territory. A big swing on that decision.
And you just can't have that view of the Browns. That was the first time Brian Flores has really dialed up one of his heaters. Dylan Gabriel more than met it. He delivered a catchable ball, and that one's on Jeudy. You just cannot have that, because at some point Flores is going to catch Gabriel here.
Jerry Jeudy's first target of the day and his 5th drop of the season. Yet to score a touchdown this year. We discussed this a little bit earlier on. This feels like the kind of day where Jerry Jeudy would turn up and have a big game on TV, maybe looking to get a trade away from the Browns, and instead he's done exactly what he couldn't do in this situation and killed that drive for them.
Considering the low expectations of this season, Browns fans are generally furious with this team, and I would say Jerry Jeudy is right at the top of their hit list. Njoku maybe is a little bit behind them.
Njoku's had some plays, he's had some moments, we've already seen it today, and obviously Harold Fannon's come in and looked brilliant as a rookie, but Jerry Jeudy is sold as being a proper wide receiver 1, a proper 1A, like not even the guy who, you know, is a system guy or anything else, not a volume number one, like a big body guy who's meant to be making plays downfield, and just, I don't know, it's never come together for me.
No, and that's the frustrating thing for them, is their rookie class has been pretty sensational through the early going to the season, and yet it's a veteran who consistently is letting them down.
And Judy's going down to make that catch, but like you said, very catchable. It was very clearly a drop by him through the bread basket.
Right, Miles Price back to receive. Long of 13 last week, 29 on the season. Punt from Bajorquez is up. Big, high, spiraling ball all the way back to the 10. It's a brilliant punt. Goes out of bounds right around the 10-yard marker. They might make it the 11, but they're going to pin back the Minnesota Vikings deep. And it feels like every drive for the Vikings recently has started inside their own 20.
Yeah, it's making them go the long way, and at some point they've made a mistake. Just curious what you think too, Ollie. I feel like there's been more plays to be made for the Vikings. The Browns defense has just been hanging on a little bit and counting on mistakes, whereas the other side, the Vikings defense is dictating more.
Yeah, the Vikings on offense, they're really dictating everything around Justin Jefferson. Wherever he goes, they're trying to get a play behind him. I wonder if on this drive we're going to just finally see a shot to Justin Jefferson.
8-18, 21-14, and now the 11. That's where their drives have started today, with Wentz under center. One back in behind him, and he goes to Jordan Mason off the left-hand side of the line. Maybe picks up 2 or 3, trying to push the pile forward, and they'll call that a 2nd and 8, around about the 2nd and 9 at the 12, in fact, only giving him a yard.
It's a gain of 1 yard. 2nd down, 9.
So 2nd down and 9, back in the huddle. What do you do if you're Kevin Stefanski here, if you're now behind the mark, if you're behind the down and distance?
Yeah, I think you got to stick with the run game or go with some kind of rolling play action. And maybe you can just get a slide underneath and pick up 3-4 yards.
And Wentz will start this in the gun with Mason alongside him. 3 receivers stacked to the left. Jefferson singled up on the right-hand side, up against Denzel Ward. Gets some push against Ward, and they're going out in that direction, but Jefferson just never got his head around. Quick ball out from Carson Wentz, under pressure, and Jefferson never any opportunity to catch that ball.
It's a design back shoulder. Wentz thinks that Jefferson's going to cut it back a little slightly. Instead, Jefferson tries to stay up the field, and they're just off target together.
As they bring C.J. Ham and Adam Thielen into the game, the big fullback, a reliable wide receiver, but as the crowd are encouraged to get loud on 3rd and 9 from the 12. And the Vikings get anything going, 3:20 left in this second quarter. Just the 1 touchdown drive so far today, involving the deep touchdown shot thrown by running back to tight end. Now Wentz in the gun. Ham stays in alongside him. He gets time this time, but he is still pressured. Has to roll out to his left. He's got space in front of him. Green out to the 16, down to the 19-yard line. He's going to be about 2 yards short of the line to gain. Carson Schwessinger come in on it. Good pressure and good push up front from the Browns.
I was watching Justin Jefferson on that play. He eventually does uncover, but Carson Wentz doesn't have the time to find him. And the Browns defense is feeling great. If every 3rd and long, it's just Carson Wentz running up the middle trying to make a play.
Yeah, and I think Carson Schwessinger will feel good in the film room meeting on Monday night. He'll be able to pull up his own perfect form tackle, crushing Wentz.
Punter back at the 5-yard line. Ball spiraling up in the air, forced to backtrack and catch right around the 17. Chance to bring it out though. The left-hand side makes a man miss, out to the 30, out to about the 34-yard line. Nice starting field position for the Browns, who, as we're talking about starting field positions, a much nicer day for Cleveland on that front. Their deepest has been at the 11, but they've started from the 40, the 34, the 26, and the Minnesota 47. Field position has been in their favor, but not a lot of long drives so far.
Yeah, and I think that's where Stefanski will probably be a little disappointed that we're as close as we are right now, given the starting field position, given they've been able to get some good push-up from on Wentz, and he's been able to maybe escape and create some things on the fly, but I think this is, well, we're at now. Well, look, this to me feels like must field goal type drive.
2:30 remaining, so with the 2-minute warning available, they go out quickly for this drive. Gabriel in the gun brings his running back in alongside him. 2 receivers to the right, 2 tight ends to the left of the line. Gives the handoff and absolutely swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. In on the tackle, Levi Drake Rodriguez. And it'll be a loss of about a yard on the play.
Flores has done a great job, and these young players have done a great job. Production out of surprising places like Drake Rodriguez and Redmond.
Gabriel in the gun this time, right around the 25. Goes quick throw out to Judy. This time he does bring it in at the 36-yard line, but he's going to leave them with a 3rd and long. Round about an 8-yard play, and at the 2-minute warning, 7 apiece between the Minnesota Vikings and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns with the ball as we back live for NFL action here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on talkSPORT 2. Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT 2 at the 2-minute warning here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with the Cleveland Browns and Minnesota Vikings all tied up at 7 apiece. Harold Fanning's touchdown to open the scoring before Cam Akers on a little trick play took the direct snap and found Josh Oliver downfield on the Wildcat to level things up. Second quarter, no scoring, a lot of 3 and outs. The defense is standing up a lot stouter. I'm Will Gavin alongside Gregg Rosenthal from NFL Daily. The read optionals, Ollie Connolly here as well. And gents, when you call this Ollie Connolly a must-have field goal drive for the Browns. They put themselves in a 3rd and long, and if you're Brian Flores, you've got to be feeling yourself a little bit.
Yeah, this is the exciting time for Brian Flores, and I feel for both offenses, they've tried different things. Both of them have really dialed in and said, we're going to throw everything that we've got left buried in the cupboard, we're going to bring it to this week, and it's just not good enough yet against 2 of the best defenses in the league.
Rookie quarterbacks 1-9 against Brian Flores, playing against him in their opening game today as they send the man in motion from right to left. Gabriel has extra protection, goes for a man, Isaiah Bond right around the yard to gain. He might be about half a yard short. Jeff Okudah in on the tackle, outside the numbers, down on this sideline, and I think they're going to call that a 4th and 1 right around the 43. It's very tight, but I think he's just short.
It's a great job all around. Dylan Gabriel with a perfect ball. Great tackle, but Isaiah Bond doesn't allow it. They're going for it on 4th.
Gabriel going on the 4th and 1, hands it to Jerome Ford. Ford pushing the pile, gets out past the down marker, out to the 45-yard line, and that'll be a Cleveland Browns 1st down.
Love the decisiveness there by Stefanski. Didn't even think twice about that 4th down. Got to the line fast, and they pick it up.
I'm not a huge in-the-gun guy on 4th and 1. I think it limits what you can do, but it worked on that occasion. Ford still in the backfield alongside him as they go hurry up. 2 tight ends to the right, but he goes over the middle, looking for David Njoku, and the pass is broken up by Josh Metellus. Very nearly intercepted right around his own 45-yard line. That'd be 2nd and 10 back at the Browns 45.
Yeah, and this isn't the David Njoku of 18 months ago. 18 months ago, David Njoku breaks away from Josh Metellus there, and we're looking at a big play there. Metellus is able to close in on the ball.
I mean, Metellus, the subject of a big-time read optional piece at one point. One of Ollie's favorite players, and they've been throwing at him a lot this year, and he's held up well.
Yeah, it kind of typifies what the Brian Flores defense does, right? Maybe we'll get into that a bit more in the second half as Gabriel in the gun, looking for Njoku over the middle, that finds Ford, a little dump off. It's a screen, out to the 45, out to the 40, he's going to be pushed out of bounds. Harrison Smith out on that side, Theo Jackson as well, but another Cleveland Brown 1st down. Nice play design, Kevin Stefanski.
That's outstanding stuff from Stefanski. They keep Ford in to help them pass protect. They caught the pass rush up the field. Everyone thinks they must be dropping back. for a shot down the field because Ford is in, and instead they slip him out underneath the pass rush and throw it to him.
And they're going to call it 1st and 10 at the 38. 1 minute remaining. All 6 timeouts still very much in play here. I'm not sure the Vikings worrying too much about getting the ball back, maybe just stopping a score here, which, let's be honest, 3 could very much decide this game as Gabriel moves forward from his left to his right and moves Njoku to the left-hand side of the line. He's got 2 receivers left. Jerry Jeudy solo to his right. Harrison Smith drops out in coverage, having shown blitz, and they go for a little dump off to Ford, out past the 40, down to the 35, and right along the numbers around the 34-yard line, picks up maybe 4-5 on the play, and that'll be a 2nd and 6 for the Cleveland Browns as they go hurry up. Carson Wentz is going inside the locker room. We've just heard injury update. We'll give you more on that as we can as Gabriel drops back. He's looking for Isaiah Bond on this side. He's forced to throw the ball away as Isaiah Bond didn't seem to know that the play had got underway and was just kind of walking through his route. Bizarre moment there.
Yeah, they've had a couple of communication issues of when the ball has actually been snapped on the last 2 drives the Browns have.
Yeah, we'll update you on that. Carson Wentz. I've just seen that on social media, so as we get more, we'll let you know. But he has gone down to the locker room early, looking like it's some kind of injury.
Brosma time.
3rd and 7 here, 35 seconds to go. They've done a good job managing the clock. They're in field goal range. You obviously want to get it closer than a 52-yard attempt.
3rd and 7 at the 35. Gabriel in the gun. Ford alongside him, stays in. Pass protection. Jeudy is available. Outside the numbers to the 30. Down to the 26-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Under the tackle of Byron Murphy Jr., but he picks up the Cleveland Browns first down.
And now they get greedy. They'll use their timeout. You might not get to the red zone too often in this game. They're still 6 yards away, but I think Stefanski's gonna want to be aggressive, get as many plays as they can in.
One red zone trip so far in a half of football.
And you got to give Dylan Gabriel a ton of credit. Every time the Vikings are sending some kind of heat, he is so decisive. You can see he can decode it really quickly and is throwing at least catchable balls.
Carson Wentz confirmed questionable to return with a shoulder injury. He's headed to the locker room early before half-time. Of course, finished that last drive with the scramble up the middle when Carson Schlesinger took him down. Is that the moment where something happened to his shoulder? We'll wait and find out more. 30 seconds remaining. First time out for the Browns, 1st and 10 with the ball at the 26. Gabriel in the gun. Sends Jeudy from left to right. Has a tight end either side of the formation. Isaiah Bond to his left and Jerome Ford in the backfield. 3-step drop back. Looks to the left-hand side to Njoku. Reaching up above the defender. Pulling it down at the 10-yard line. And that's going to be a Cleveland Brown 1st and goal from the 10. Big play, David Njoku.
It's a risky 50-50 ball from Dylan Gabriel. He hangs it ever so slightly, but Njoku goes up and grabs it.
The hero of the last 2 weeks, Isaiah Rodgers, in on coverage. A significantly smaller man than David Njoku.
That was a worthwhile shot there. He trusted his guy in Njoku, who made a great catch. And you mentioned the communication issues. I'm watching one of the Browns coaches telling Jerry Jeudy to go in motion before the snap from the sideline, then telling him to stop. So it's a new offense, perhaps, with Dylan Gabriel, and everyone's a little confused.
Yeah, you've got a new starter on the road, international, and yeah, they've pulled out a bunch of new plays, so I think the communication is difficult.
So 1st and goal from the 9, they call it. 25 seconds remaining. Browns with 1 timeout, and it's going to be a timeout called by the Minnesota Vikings as they see how the Browns line up and elect to change their defense. Njoku, by the way, 6 inches and 66 pounds he has on Isaiah Rodgers. I don't mind throwing up a jump ball in that situation.
Yeah, and I think it's more than 66 pounds now. They asked him to add 20 pounds in the offseason to be more of a blocking tight end for them. I think he enjoyed his offseason. He may have upped it ever so slightly to 30 or 40 based on the way he looks at the moment.
He's had a Will Gavin of an off-season. Left shoulder injury confirmed. We're still waiting to find out exactly whether Wentz will be able to re-enter the game, but as mentioned, could be Max Brosma time for these Minnesota Vikings. Gabriel in the gun, 1st and goal, from the 9. Isaiah Bond in motion from right to left. 3 receivers in a stack on this left-hand side. Ford moved from right to left as well. Gabriel just hands the ball off, gets maybe a yard on the play. Jerome Ford down to the 8, and that'll be 2nd and goal from there. They'll use their 3rd and final timeout. 20 seconds remaining. Enough time for a couple of shots at the end zone here.
Yeah, running the ball on 1st down, maybe tried to catch the Vikings off guard. Ultimately, the news about Wentz, not that it's in Stefanski's mind, but it's in my mind. 7 points in this game could be absolutely massive with Max Brosma on the bench, although Who knows? I'm a sicko. I watched some Max Brosner in the preseason, and he looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a Max Brosmer fan. I think that he was the best of the quarterbacks in the preseason for Minnesota.
Look, I've got some notes on Max Brosmer. I'm going to spend Ray's halftime performance just reading up a little bit more, maybe watching a bit of film while that's going on. We've got Ollie Connolly here, though. He knows his stuff. Gabriel in the gun. Jerome Ford in alongside him, sends Isaiah Bond in motion. Bond, Fannin and Judy out to the left-hand side. That's where he'll look. Oh, it's a hit as he throws. Ball up in the air. It goes out of bounds. Just about underneath is Byron Murphy Jr. But as he throws there on the 2nd and goal, and now be 3rd and goal with 16 seconds remaining.
So the ball, if you're not familiar with American football, it's oblong, and it just takes crazy bounces there. And sometimes the way deflections happen decide a game or not. And Gabriel and the Browns breathing easy after that. That could have been awful.
Just seeing that play back as they look to break the huddle, seeing who got in on the tackle, but instead we're going to go back to the play. Gabriel in the gun, he's gone 5 wide now, empty backfield, not a lot of that today. 2 tight ends in as well, 3 wide receivers, and it'll be another timeout. Kevin Stefanski right down to that sideline, right in Scott Novak's ear, and calls another one after seeing them go 5 wide. He's determined to make sure that they hold them to 3 here.
Yeah, and I think in empty, it's really difficult to send pressure. And we know in high leverage situations, Brian Flores wants to send pressure. I think they wanted to get a look at the formation and then check out of it.
So it will be 3rd and goal from the 9-yard line. They're not even giving Ford a yard on that run up the middle on 1st down. And a chance here for Brian Flores and the defense to stand up, try and hold the Browns to 3 and keep it to just a field goal lead at the half.
And the Browns don't have any timeouts here, so they got to be careful to make sure that the clock stops.
Gabriel in the gun, he's gone 5 wide. The left tackle did go early, so as he goes to the end zone looking for Isaiah Bond, false start is called against Cam Robinson. In fact, it's not Cam Robinson. And on that, it's Katie Leviston. So Cam Robinson had his issues earlier on in the game, and they brought Katie Leviston in at left tackle. I mean, that's not a glowing report on Cam Robinson.
No, Leviston is one of the slowest guys off the ball working backwards, a really talented run blocker, so he's trying to get out of the stance super quick because he knows he's a little slow out the thing and he goes too early there.
The Vikings would love that to have been a penalty that they could have turned down, but instead it'll be 3rd and goal now out at the 14. The 16 seconds, as Greg said, does have to be considered here because they're going to be struggle to get field goal unit out there. In the gun, 5 wide, looking for the end zone, looking for Harold Fannin, and just throws it out the back of the end zone. Doesn't see what he wants. Dylan Gabriel throws the ball away, and it'll be a field goal attempt for the Cleveland Browns with 13 seconds remaining of the half, looking to take a 10-7 lead.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Dylan Gabriel. I know the numbers aren't crazy. He's 13 for 21 for 102 yards. He's got the touchdown. Overall, the decision-making process, I think Kevin Stefanski is going to be happy with it.
Yeah, he's seeing things really well. I don't think we've seen any sense of just panicking and throwing up ducks.
So Andre Schmidt in for the 31-yarder here. Short field goal. Corey Bajorquez on the hold. Rex Nahara with the snap, and the ball is straight through the uprights for the field goal and the lead for the Cleveland Browns. 9 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter, and Andre Schmidt gives the Cleveland Browns their 2nd lead of the game. 10-7, the Browns lead the Minnesota Vikings live here on talkSPORT 2 from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And look, everything you could have asked for on that drive, barring the red zone turning into a touchdown.
Yeah, it's huge for them to get a lead here at halftime. Also, this game has kind of settled into more of what we expected. A lot of offense in the 1st quarter, then 6 straight punts before that field goal drive.
We are seeing some footage of Carson Wentz on the sideline before heading into the blue tent. He was just indicating he was struggling to lift that left shoulder up above the kind of parallel of his shoulders and up above his head. Max Brosmer has got his helmet on the sideline. I suspect they may just take a knee with him here rather than running a play unless they get some big return. But we may well be seeing the 6'2", 24-year-old rookie undrafted this year coming into the game. As Greg said, impressed a lot of people in the preseason. I saw some fun tweets last week saying, put Brosmer in, you coward, having a bit of fun with it. But we may well be seeing him coming into this game as this ball is fielded right around the 4-yard line. Miles Price bring it out to the 20, 25, 30, 35, makes a tackle, miss, gets out to the 42-yard line with 3 seconds still left on the clock. Will they try anything from this play? Price thought he could have broke that one. He's livid that he didn't manage to. I suspect we get these here, but maybe we get something a bit fun from the Vikings.
I think if Wentz was fully healthy, you would give it a go.
There's a hold on it. It's getting pulled back. I think it's almost certainly now going to be a knee.
Could have maybe tried Will Reichert from about 75, the way kickers have been going.
I'm here for it. If we saw history like that here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I still think Mike McCarthy should have been fired on the spot for not letting them go for a 70-yard field goal at the end of the half last year. He's clearly capable of it, Brandon Aubrey. Why not give it a go? As Max Brosman comes out, does take a knee on this play. His first snap in the NFL, but we'll see after Ray's halftime show because he might be taking a fair few more coming up in this second half. The Cleveland Browns came out in this game, scoring early in the first quarter. Dylan Gabriel finding Harold Fannin for the 1-yard touchdown off of the Jordan Mason fumble near midfield. Minnesota coming back out, driving the ball down the field, and a direct snap to Cam Akers finding Josh Oliver for the 32-yard touchdown on the trick play. And right up until just inside the 2-minute warning, that was all the scoring we'd seen in this half before a Cleveland drive to finish things off. And an Andre Smith 31-yard field goal sees them taking a 3-point lead into the half. 10-7 Cleveland. And eventually that game, after some fun offensive stuff early doors, probably settled into what we expected, gentlemen.
It did. I do think Dylan Gabriel's handled it well, though I understand they've not moved the ball consistently until that last drive. But the downside scenario, the concern coming in, was that Brian Flores and this funky defense will get after him, and maybe they would have multiple turnovers in the passing game, and we just haven't seen that.
I think one reason they went to Dylan Gabriel is because Joe Flacco wasn't always taking the easy shots. Like, there were some receivers open, and Joe Flacco was going down the field, low percentage throws. His receivers weren't helping him out either, but ultimately Gabriel a little more nimble, maybe even quicker to get rid of the ball, and that's going to suit this young offense.
You mentioned it, 21 of 13, 102 yards, the touchdown strike as well, and a couple of nice long completions as well. That 17-yarder, but I think the biggest thing for me has been quick. It's been that, you said it already, the decision making. Like, haven't seen hesitation, haven't seen him panic under pressure. Arguably Carson Wentz has done more of that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think that the thing with Dylan Gabriel, as Greg mentioned, is you bring him in to kind of challenge 8 to 10 yards down the field. That's what you need him to do. It's quick, it's snappy football. And with the way Brian Flores plays defense, you get this natural void in the middle of the field at the second level where you can play quick, snappy football. That's how you would beat the thing. And so making the change from Flacco, who wants to be the deep bomber down the field as all this chaos is unfolding around him, I think it's proven so far it was the correct decision.
What have you made of how the Vikings have lined up against him, what they've done on the defensive side of the ball?
They've been pretty basic. It's not been what you would expect, particularly early in the game. I think they were trying to get a sense what Stefanski was doing and almost absorb his best shot. Please give us all your trick plays and all your gadgets early, and then we'll get more creative. They haven't really unloaded the clip until the very end of that last drive when they started getting to all the mugged up and zero looks.
The first downs in that game coming from the Browns side of it. 4 from rushing, 5 passing, 2 of 2 on the 4th down attempts, just 2 of 9 on 3rd down, but 165 yards. I mean, all in all, it's a Browns defense this year that have restricted teams to 221 yards, but an offense which has barely managed to scrape that. Already they've got 10 points, when their average for the season is just a little north of 14, the 31st in the NFL. Like, this is an offense that needs a little bit of a spark, and early doors you feel like Dylan's given it something at least.
He's done a good job, and the defense too keeps getting them extra possessions. I thought the Vikings came out in a good rhythm. Jordan Mason, that early fumble was massive, and then in the second quarter of that game, whether it was the pressure getting there too quickly, Wentz missed a couple throws, they had a penalty that brought back a really nice Wentz play, just small errors in 6 penalties in the first half for the Minnesota Vikings.
And as we wait for the news of Carson Wentz's shoulder, come on then, Matt Brosma, what you got for us? The scouting report, it's time.
Yeah, so he went to school at Minnesota, so it's fun to have a hometown quarterback. It's not something we often get in the NFL. His staff at Minnesota is the staff I work for at Western Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And they absolutely rave about Max Brosma in terms of the intangibles of the positions, all the classic coach speak stuff. Yet with him, you actually do buy it. And then we see him in preseason. He's not supposed to have the biggest arm. He's not the greatest mover, but he was throwing seeds in preseason. It looked like his arm strength had gone up a level. I've been thinking since Wentz has gone in that there might be something extra there if you went to Bros. But the problem has been just the entire operation. It is such a complex, detail-oriented offense. You obviously go with the veteran just to try and keep things moving, to make sure everything's in place. If Brosma has some of those details down, I think just snap for snap, who can drive it to open receivers, I don't think there's that much of a difference.
And as halftime gets underway with Ray in a big square red stage in front of us with a full brass band, timpani, drums, string section, like they are putting on a show at halftime for the fans here in London. Plenty have stayed in their seats, and we'll come back and catch a little bit of Ray off the back of the break here on talkSPORT 2. NFL Live on talkSPORT 2. I kept forgetting that people could watch us on the talkSPORT 2, on the talkSPORT USA live stream via YouTube, which you should definitely do. It's a lot of fun. There's lots of chat going on in there. Matt Sherry's been in touch, letting us know that he's listening in on his way to Buffalo for tonight's game. So great to hear from Matt. Great to hear from a lot of you who are listening all over the world. And yeah, it's wonderful to see. But we're enjoying a bit of Ray, and I kind of forgot that I was going to be caught dancing on the live stream during the break. And yeah, maybe don't go back and watch that and see my moves. Let's catch a little bit of Ray at the halftime show here at Tottenham.
Don't you give up on your life. Stay with me.
Absolutely sensational from Ray. Not going to lie, that was really, really great stuff. We had back-to-back really great half-time shows here at the NFL in Dublin and now here in London as she turns around and celebrates her band. And as with like the Super Bowl half-time show, you suddenly see about 200 people sprinting off the sideline, starting to move things back, starting to get the field clear. Andre Schmidt is now kicking the ball off from, what, that's about the 35. So if he's going to attempt this, I'm going to call this a 75-yarder if he nails this. I think he's probably just practicing a kickoff, but I'm desperate to see if he's actually going to try and kick one from 75 yards. I believe. Look, Will Gavin, I've got Gregg Rosenthal and Ollie Connolly alongside me on the call here on talkSPORT 2, on the talkSPORT USA YouTube channel as well, where the first half provided us a lot of entertainment, expected a lot of great defence, but big turnover in the game, a fun trick play for a touchdown. Like, London has delivered so far, gentlemen.
I've enjoyed the chess match, too, between two good coaches who desperately want to win this game. You mentioned the schedule for the Vikings coming up. After the bye, they have, I believe it's a 4-day stretch where they have the Eagles and the Chargers being on Thursday Night Football on the road. Then after that, it's the Lions. Lamar Jackson probably back for the Ravens. That is a brutal stretch, and this is a team with high expectations. Sometimes it's about managing the season, like just find a way to beat the Dylan Gabriel Browns and rest up for a week.
Yeah, they just got to find a way to get back to J.J. McCarthy, and then we'll see what happens with J.J. McCarthy. That's no guarantee either, but it is, as you said, about managing the season. You cannot come on the road against the Cleveland Browns where all of their most impactful players outside of Myles Garrett feel like rookies, and to not pick up the win there would be a rough one.
Look, I know today's not about McCarthy, obviously, not featuring in today's game, but he is the great future hope of this Minnesota Vikings team. They made the decision to move on from Sam Darnold to give him the keys to the offense, and it was a struggle for the first two games for him. Like, yes, he had the great fourth quarter against the Chicago Bears, as we do see Max Brosmer warming up on the sideline. So I'm going to forget talking about J.J. McCarthy, and I'm going to go to our Brosmer expert down here. As Carson Wentz is out there as well. Wentz has a strapping on his left arm and is throwing the ball. Brosmer has his helmet on, but Wentz is there throwing the ball back and forth with Max Brosmer. I mean, I guess if his helmet's on, we're likely to see him in the game.
I would guess so. Maybe there's some gamesmanship to get the Browns to think and start panicking in the back offices, pulling up the scouting report of Brosmer and see how they would attack him instead of attacking Wentz. Wentz now has his helmet on, so I think they'll at least give it a go. Who knows what happens in NFL locker rooms at halftime as well.
Yeah, as I say, that left shoulder heavily bandaged, a black bandage kind of just appearing from under the white and purple lined pads on that left-hand side. And he's throwing fine with that right shoulder, hitting Brosmer down the field on these routes, and Brosmer now throwing into the hands of Hockenson. Josh Oliver getting involved as well. This definitely suggests that we're going to see Wentz in this second half, but Brosmer's got to be ready to go, right? Like, if he's taken a few hits in this game already. He's had a couple of scrambles looking for the first down, had those two stops just short of the first down marker, both of which where he was forced to scramble out of the pocket and gets hit pretty hard. Like,
yeah, and no one hits like this Browns defense. This is playoff conference round type speed the Browns play with and they hit with. And so you got to get Brosma ready too, just in case Wentz cannot go.
Getting hit is one of the reasons why I don't think Carson Wentz's career has gone as well as he would have hoped. He would just take massive hits, and we saw he did one spin move on Schlesinger. Next
got him
time,
back.
Yeah, he got him back, and that's been the problem for Carson Wentz really throughout his career, is that he does not protect himself, and he's not built like a Superman like Cam Newton or Ryan Tannehill, who just had this incredible ability to withstand all those hits.
And this is why that field goal drive at the end was so important. The Vikings would want to probably go here to let's do an all-run offense, see if we could spring one. Maybe we could drive down the field into field goal range and sneak out of this thing. If you've got to throw in an undrafted free agent rookie quarterback with all the new pieces on that offensive line, now we are in operational nightmare territory with Myles Garrett coming off the edge.
But interestingly in this game, so we've seen him take the 2 big hits, both on the scramble plays, but both for positive yardage. Yet to be sacked. No quarterback hits in this game either at the moment. It's just on those 2 scrambles. So for a Browns line that we talked about coming into this game as being the kind of key unit here, as we talked about Myles Garrett potentially, going past Reggie White for the most sacks of a man under 30 if he got 2 today. Like we were talking about them having an absolute feast of a day. Actually, this Vikings offensive line has stepped up and played pretty well.
I agree, and look, they haven't even had all their weapons. My colleague at NFL Network, Ian Rappaport, said that Jordan Addison was benched for the first quarter due to a coach's decision. Maybe he was out enjoying the London nightlife. That's the type of thing that it would indicate.
I said it when he first came out to the field. I said I've not called his name a lot today. We saw a lot of Thielen early doors, saw a lot of Jalen Naylor early doors, obviously a lot of the tight ends as well, and they're going to be coming out onto the field.
It was a very clear thing, too, where first quarter out, second quarter in, so that indicates some sort of player discipline.
A slap on the wrist, maybe, for Jordan Addison. Don't want to speculate, but certainly that's what it sounds like from what the insiders are telling us. Wentz back on the sideline warming up, a sleeve on his left shoulder. He is helmet on, and he's going down to the offensive line and high-fiving and dapping them up, so it looks like he is going to play as Miles Price catches the kickoff right around the 4-yard line, brings it out past the 25, makes a man miss, spin move out to about the 29-yard line. In fact, they're going to mark him right at the 30 for the Cleveland Browns, and that's where this offense will come back out and start this drive, and where we will see Carson Wentz following his offensive line out onto the field. It's a makeshift offensive line, to say the least anyway, with starting centre Ryan Kelly, backup centre Michael Jurgens, starting left guard Donovan Jackson, and starting right tackle Brian O'Neill, all out for this team. They had to fly in a player just to make sure they had enough offensive linemen suited up on the bench today. But Carson Wentz is going to try and tough this out with that shoulder injury, and will start from under centre with a fullback and running back in Ham and Mason in behind him, wide receiver left in Addison, wide receiver right in Jordan Naylor. Fakes the handoff though, looks to dump it off, just looking for Jordan Mason. In and out of his hands, that'll be ruled an incompletion, but he was under a huge amount of pressure there from Carson Schlesinger, and that'll be 2nd and 10.
Browns defense again loaded up in the box to stop the run. They call a screen to try to beat it, and Wentz ultimately can't stay patient. Didn't have much time.
No, Myles Garrett came swooping around the arc, and you got to wonder if he's going to be a little bit jittery with the shoulder there.
2nd and 10 then from the 29-yard line. This time Mason in the backfield alone. 3 to the left in a stack with the 2 tight ends. Now sends Addison in motion. It is a little pitch to Mason, makes Garrett miss, gets out to the 30, down to about the 32-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. That was potentially a loss of yardage on that play, but he manages to make Myles Garrett miss and picks up 2, maybe 3 on the play.
The same tactic we saw in the first half, right? They're going to pitch it to the perimeter. They're trying to catch Myles Garrett upfield. We'll see how the Browns adjust.
So 3rd and 7 from the 32. Carson Wentz in the game despite leaving it earlier. Questionable to return with the shoulder injury. And for the first time on this drive, he'll be in the gun. CJ Ham alongside him. Hockenson tight to the line, and then Thielen to the left. Thielen to the right, with Jordan Addison. And down in front of us, Justin Jefferson, and that's where he's going to look to Jefferson, right around the 45-yard line. Flags in on the play, and you've got to say, Greg Newsome absolutely livid to see the laundry coming in. They are calling it pass interference against the defense, though, and Jefferson coming back on the ball there gets a big penalty against the Browns.
Couple signs that I don't love if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan. Saw the replay on that first messed up screen by Wentz, and then on that throw, both times he did seem to be falling away from the pressure, protecting his shoulder almost unconsciously. There's not a good throw there, and that's a concern if he's not going to be willing to stand in.
He gets away with one a little bit, but sometimes that works when you've got one of the best receivers, maybe the best in the NFL, playing on the outside as he comes under center now. 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Hand the ball off to Mason, fakes it, has a deep shot downfield, looking for Jefferson. Grabs the ball from the air right around the 35-yard line, and after the play gets in Greg Newsome's face and lets him know about it. That'll be a Vikings first down into Browns territory.
A whole bunch of afters from the play before with Newsome right in the face of all of the Vikings coaching staff, and they say, let's come right back and attack this clown.
Greg learnt about afters last week, so I'm glad to hear someone else using it, and it's not just me. Wentz under center then, ball at the 35 of the Browns after the big pickup on that first down to Jefferson. CJ Ham is lined up wide out with Jefferson outside him, or Jordan Addison to the right. And it's going to be a fake to Mason over the middle, finding Jordan Addison, who steps back and then out to the 20. First down, Minnesota, out to the Browns 20-yard line, down into the red zone. And this Vikings offense getting rolling.
I'm seeing multiple open receivers when Carson Wentz gets some time. It is a talented wide receiver crew. Obviously got the best wide receiver in football in Justin Jefferson, but Addison is a fantastic 2. Thielen's a good 3. Hockenson can do things. So if they can protect Carson Wentz, they can move the ball.
15-yard gain then out to the 20. And now into the red zone for the first time today. This Vikings offense. Wentz in the gun. Calls for a check at the line. Josh Oliver tight in line with Addison and Thielen to his left, with Jefferson and Mason as a wide receiver. Looks for Jefferson in the end zone. Almost coming down with it. A one-handed attempted grab going up against Denzel Ward. But it's incomplete, and that'll be 2nd and 10 from the 20.
The Browns haven't been using Ward to travel with Justin Jefferson, but they put him in the slot that time, just in case you get the slot fade. They get the slot fade, and he goes and makes a play on the ball.
Ward's only played 3% of his snaps out of the slot this season. Not surprised to see them line him up there, though, when it's against Justin Jefferson.
Look at Gavin with some next-gen stats off the top of his head.
Went under center then. Mason in behind him. Jefferson again split out wide right and is up against Ward again. Ball was handed off to Mason though. Little one cut outside the numbers. 15 down to the 10, down to the 5, pushed out of bounds right around the 5-yard line, but that'll be a Minnesota Vikings first and goal from the 5.
Excellent play. Thought they might have called holding on Josh Oliver, but he holds that block on the outside. One of the better blocking tight ends in the league.
Devin Bush putting him out of bounds in the end. They're going to first and goal at the 6-yard line in the end. Vikings down 3, looking to take a lead with this first drive of the second half here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Wentz going under center, Mason in behind him. Hockenson moving from left to right. Jefferson singled up on the left. Addison wide right, stomps his foot. Looks to get Addison in motion. Fakes the handoff. He's got a rollout. Josh Oliver out to the 5. He makes a man miss. Goes down right around the 2-yard line. Eventually Grant Delpit coming in on this one. That looked like a play that was going to develop into a touchdown. And maybe, just maybe, Carson Wentz could have led his man a little bit more and might have got a touchdown grab.
Yeah, I thought that was a good defensive play. Alex Wright disrupts the pass. Excellent tackle. I think that was just good ball.
Denzel Ward and Grant Delpit in on the tackle, and it'll be second and goal now from the 3. Wentz in the gun this time. Mason alongside him, 2 receivers to the left. Addison and Jefferson. Moves Mason from left to the right, hands the ball off. Jordan Mason up the middle. Jordan Mason moving the pile, and Jordan Mason, touchdown Minnesota Vikings. The opening drive of the half, and they rumble the ball all the way into the Browns end zone.
I love what they did throughout that drive. Carson Wentz coming back from the shoulder injury, but ultimately it was Jordan Mason and the guys up front getting it done.
Set up for the extra point then. 13-10 game. The Minnesota Vikings lead now as Will Ricard sets up for the extra point. Just getting the line set, making sure everything is set up for Andrew DePaola. Ryan Wright on the hold. Ball is up and ball is good. 4-point game then. The Minnesota Vikings lead the Cleveland Browns 14-10. Jordan Mason rumbling in for his 3rd touchdown of the season. And the Vikings lead this one 14-10 here on talkSPORT 2. Gents, that's the drive that they needed, even with Carson Wentz maybe looking a little bit like he's protecting himself.
Yeah, he looked a little bit fragile early on. I think as they advanced down the field, he hung in a little more. There was the key second down play. Greg noted it when it felt like all the Vikings receivers were open. Myles Garrett was actually off the field, so they checked to attacking the middle of the field, knowing he might have a little bit more time. But we've talked about it all day. This protection has held up for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that offensive line doing some sensational work for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, it was meant to be strength on weakness in this game. This game was going to be all in the trenches. And after the Vikings were a little bit manhandled by the Steelers last week, they've come out and put together quite an impressive performance.
Yeah, and I think you noted it throughout the game that they've had Myles Garrett set really wide away from the formation. They're hoping that the Vikings will slide everything to Garrett's side to create one-on-ones for all those other fabulous players they have away from the ball. I think they're going to have to tweak it. I think they're going to start moving Garrett around, maybe play more inside, maybe play more head up over the center, put your best on their worst and go from there.
That was a mature drive there by Carson Wentz. And I was thinking about this game in the context of their season. The second half of that game against the Bears, I almost felt like it was an organizational win. Like, Kevin O'Connell has been running this program well now for 4 seasons. And they're just better than the Browns overall, and this is where you're calling on your strengths on defense, your strengths in play calling, and then of course your playmakers. They've won a lot of games. They're in a spot against a team they should be better than, but with a lot going against them. And that was a really mature, calm way to come out in the second half and go take the lead again.
An 8-play, 71-yard drive. The big penalty given against Greg Newsom down the sideline, then the big completion to Justin Jefferson and to Jordan Addison to really spark this offense in the second half. And with 11:11 remaining in the third quarter, we've already got 24 points in the game. The over-under was only set at 35.5. We might actually beat it today.
The lowest of the entire NFL season. I wonder if O'Connell showed that to them at halftime, like, let's get the over.
The band here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium playing Blink-182. I'm not sure that song was in any way associated with the NFL until last week. The Dublin crowd went absolutely wild for it. And now suddenly I think we're going to get it at every single game. It's like Country Roads when it was in Munich. I'm not sure Dublin wants to be associated with Blink-182, but unfortunately that's where you are at this point. So Dylan Gabriel coming out. First time you've had a deficit in your career, coming out and seeing if he can take a lead for the Cleveland Browns. Will Ricard setting up for the kickoff. 2 back for the Browns. It's going in the direction of Jerome Ford, who is waving this one off initially, but will take it out from the 5, out to the 15-20. Good blocking up front, gets to the 30 and down at the 31-yard line. Ivan Pace Jr. in on the tackle, and that's where Gabriel will start this next drive. I was wondering what the whistles were. I thought we might get a bit of afters. It's because they hadn't handed the ball back to the official. Nothing exciting, I'm afraid, boys.
I've already packed like my clothes to go home because I'm leaving in the morning, but I am definitely taking afters with me on the way back to the States.
Look, don't forget tonight, NFL Daily, recording in about 12 hours time will be me, Ollie Connolly and Gregg Rosenthal wrapping up all of the action from today for you, so make sure to check that one out before he does make his flight home as Gabriel starts this drive under centre. Quinshon Junkins out to the left hand side, has some space down to the 35, out to the 40. There is a flag down on the field. He does make it out past the first down marker, but it's going to be a false start against the Browns offense, and I'm not sure who that is in the middle, but they're absolutely livid about it.
It looks like Njoku, who is frustrated.
Yes,
was he called?
No, I'm not sure. We got Novak's mic there, but does go for illegal formation. No, he does get on that mic eventually, but illegal formation against the Browns, so they will be forced back.
Number 78 of the offense, lined up in the backfield. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, we got there eventually. Jack Conklin back into this team after some time out injured. Does force them back 5 yards, and that'll be 1st and 15 from the 26. 10:50 with the clock rolling. Gabriel breaks the huddle. 15 yards for the first down now. Starts in the gun with Junkins alongside him. 3 receivers stacked to the left as he moves Harold Fannin from left to right. And as Jerry Jeudy singled up on the right-hand side, hands the ball off, and Junkins makes one cut up the middle, outside the numbers, out to the 30, out to the 35, down to the 40-yard line, about a yard short of the first down, but picks up 14 of the 15 needed, and that'll be 2nd and 1 at the Cleveland Browns 40-yard line.
And the Browns just continue with their game plan, right? Drive it right down the teeth of the defense. That's where the Vikings are at their weakest, where the Browns offense is at their best. That interior offensive line has really struggled, but they can push people off the ball.
Feels like every time Judkins gets the ball, he's looking to bounce outside, he's looking to cut outside. It's very rare we're getting those runs up the middle from them right now. As Jerry Jeudy goes out of the game and then comes back into the game again, a little bit of confusion. Jamari Thrash also coming out of the game as Jeudy does line up on this right-hand side. 3 to the left, 2 tight ends, tight to the formation, and Gabriel under centre will hand the ball off to Judkins again. Up the middle, gets out to about the 43-yard line of the Cleveland Browns, and that'll be a first down.
It's the 5th play today where the Browns have snapped the ball and the receivers don't know the ball's been snapped. I don't know if Gabriel's cadence isn't traveling, if they're changing something in the huddle, if something is just off, but it's the 5th time Jerry Jeudy just stood in his stance as the play is going on.
The Browns are the home team here, and you have to say overall, with 9:28 left in this third quarter, that it's being honoured. There's not a huge amount of noise on these downs. As Gabriel gets under centre, Jeudy out to that right-hand side. Fanning now moving from left to right. Judkins in the backfield, takes the snap, hands the ball off to Judkins off the left-hand side, makes a man miss, gets down to about the 50-yard line. Nice pickup on first down, gets 7 on that one, and it'll be 2nd and 3 right at midfield on the F of that NFL logo.
I'm so impressed with Quinshon Judkins. Basically, the first game he entered, he has looked like a real starting back. Good vision, good patience, good power. He's always going forward when he makes his cut. He is going to be a part of this Browns team for years to come.
21 carries last week, 82 yards and a touchdown. Impressive so far today. He's in there again alongside Gabriel in the backfield. They move Fanning from left to right. In fact, it's Jerome Ford, and he gets the ball, and he gets it out to the 40-yard line, down past the first down marker, and a whole chunk extra for the Cleveland Browns, and that'll be a first down into Vikings territory at the 40-yard line.
What is it about this Flores defense, Ollie, that they struggle this season especially, but in general, to stop the run?
Yeah, they've just changed the guys along the interior. They want to bait you into running and then have everyone flow and attack from the second level. You mentioned with Judkins earlier, his vision and his ability to set you up one direction and he's cutting the other way is difficult. On that one, they put Ford in. It's kind of a natural disguise. He's the passing down back, and so they're able to drive up the middle of the field.
Less than 85 yards a game on average on the ground for the Browns this season, 30th in the NFL, as Jerome Ford gets another opportunity up the middle, gets just 2 on this carry, and that'll be a 2nd and 8 from the 38 of Minnesota. Spotted that one and swallowed it up well.
Already a productive drive here for the Browns to respond on the edge of field goal range here. 2nd and 8. They, again, have not asked Gabriel to do too much today.
Takes them to 105 rushing yards for the day, 20 past their season average already, and we've got 7:28 left in the third quarter. Gabriel back under centre again. Again, one receiver to the right, and he's got a man in motion. Rolls out to the left. Judkins in space. Out to the 30, out to the 25, down to the 20-yard line where he's bundled out of bounds. But nobody within 10 yards of him when he first got that ball. And it's not just a first down, it's a first down into the red zone.
And this is Stefanski in his element. He puts Ford in, he baits like we may throw the ball. He runs the ball, he sends Judkins back in, and it looks like it's going to be a run, but they just slip it out to the flat for an easy pickup.
So 1st and 10 at the 20, moving the ball with relative aplomb here. The Cleveland Browns, not what we saw in the first half too often from these two teams. Gabriel back under centre, Judkins on his sole in the backfield. Again, Fanning in motion, and Fanning provides a lead block, and he's forced to just throw that ball away, but he finds Njoku with it, who leaps over a man out on the far sideline. It's only 5 yards, but it's the fanciest 5 yards you'll see all day today. Gabriel under huge pressure up the middle, just tosses the ball to David Njoku, and David Njoku leaps over a man and goes out of bounds. Picks up 6 on the play.
That's the poise of Dillon Gabriel again. Pressure flashed right in his face. He has to leap to make the throw, but he didn't panic and ditch the thing.
And Njoku leaping too, telling Ollie, I didn't gain too much weight.
Ends up being Javon Hargrave who forces him out of bounds. I mean, those are 2 big, meaty men meeting on the field. 2nd and 5 then from the 15-yard line. Judkins up the middle, gets maybe 4 on this one, down about a yard from the line to gain. Big push from the offensive line towards the end of the play, but that will now be a 3rd and 1 from the 11. And what are you dialing up here, Ollie Connolly?
This is usually Harold Fannin territory, where you bluff some kind of run and you just slip it out into the flat to Harold Fannin for the Browns.
They're on the right hash mark, ready to break the huddle. Just a yard needed. You are hearing a little bit of noise from the Vikings fans in this crowd, getting loud as they will their team on to get a stop and hold this potentially to a field goal. Gabriel in the gun. Judkins alongside him, heavy line, and Fannin in motion. They do just go to Judkins. Judkins wrapped up right around the 11, maybe even a loss of a yard. He doesn't get back to the line of gain, and it'll be 4th and 2. And is Gabriel looking to stay on the field as they sub in a couple of additional players, an additional lineman, an additional receiver. A lot of conversation, but the ball is rolling and the offense are staying out on the field as it stands.
Heavy personnel package in on the field. That was a great play by Jonathan Allen. Can they make 2 great run stops?
Now it's real volume from these Minnesota Vikings fans as Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive lineman, comes into the game to play along the line. He's in motion, playing as a fullback. Now goes again, ball to Judkins off that right hand side. He gets out to 10, down to the 7-yard line, and that'll be a Browns 1st and goal. They go heavy, they go big, and they get the 1st down on 4th down.
Aiden Huntington has been my favorite rookie through the season so far. The interior defensive lineman comes in escort motion, a running start at the snap, just blasts someone on the end man of the line of scrimmage.
All about Travis Hunter plays both ways. He's not the only guy in the NFL who can get out on the other unit.
Aiden Huntington, a Tulane grad like myself, and another rookie. It's all these rookies leading the Browns.
Dylan Gabriel has 3 tight ends to his left, stacked up. He's got Judkins in the backfield, moves Fannin from left to right. Judy singled up on this right-hand side. Give the ball to Judkins. 1 cut up the middle, gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard on the play, but I think they'll call that 2nd and goal from still around the 9-yard line. If you get an opportunity, if you get to a 4th and 4, 4th and 3, like around the 3-4 yard line, thinking about going for it here?
They just went for it before. I think they're going to. They're not going to count on being this close to the end zone. They need a touchdown. Absolutely.
Not a lot of red zone opportunities in the game thus far. Back in the red zone now. Gabriel, 2nd and goal from the 9. He's got Jerome Ford alongside him, fakes it to him, looks out to Fannin, but forced to come back across the formation and ends up having to throw it away. Out the back of the end zone. Judy in the area, Isaiah Bond there as well, but Fannin, his first read was taken away and nothing developed on the play. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 9.
It's a really nice turn down from Dylan Gabriel. That is an easy one as a rookie. You're on the road in your first game. You think I can just rip this thing to the design target. He turns it down, he looks back, he does a kind of pseudo throwaway over the head where the receiver could maybe have made a special play. That was a really good quarterback play.
12 personnel again, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends and a running back. Isaiah Bond to the right, Judy lined up on the left. The Vikings favouring the left-hand side of their defensive line, showing pressure. Fannin moves. He is being marked by Metellus. Ball over the middle. Ball to David Njoku. Touchdown! Cleveland Browns over the middle. And the big man who just leaped over someone on a previous play now gets into the end zone for pay dirt. And the Cleveland Browns have a lead here in North London.
Oh, David Njoku raises his arms to the Tottenham crowd. He is loving it. He did it before the game as well with his shirt off, getting some love from the Browns faithful who made the trip.
Hey, you said he was getting a little bit of hate from the Cleveland Browns fan. He's having a bit of a day today, David Njoku. And a 2nd touchdown for the Browns today. 16-14 extra point upcoming. Ball is down, hold is good. Kick is up and kick is good. 17-14, the Cleveland Browns lead the Minnesota Vikings with 3:05 left in the 3rd quarter. You're listening to NFL Live here on talkSPORT 2. Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT 2. Will Gavin, I've got Ollie Connolly alongside me. Gregg Rosenthal just stepping away for a moment. The excitement of back-to-back touchdown drives and you needed to just take 5 minutes. He'll be back with us shortly on talkSPORT 2. Don't forget you can watch us on the talkSPORT USA YouTube channel as well. Lots of comments flying in there. I'm getting called out for mixing up disturbed and refused, which was about an hour ago that happened. And yet that's happening to me right now for getting called out on that. Blink taking strays, yes they were, very much so. I'm sorry, I'm not 15 years old anymore. Maybe even younger, to be honest. Look, great drive from the Cleveland Browns, moving down the field, moving up 17-14. David Njoku with the touchdown. Both tight ends getting one on the day as Kevin Stefanski gets in his bag a little bit, and we're loving what we're seeing.
We're loving what we're seeing. It's similar to the first half, right, where both offenses had a solid early showing, then it became this kind of defensive slugfest. They both responded to open the second half, and we'll see if defenses take back over down the stretch here.
So setting up for the kickoff, back-to-back touchdown drives to start the second half. 17-14 game, dangerously close to the over already, which was set at 35.5 today, the lowest in the NFL, as this high spiraling ball goes just inside the 10, and it's going to be brought out by Miles Price. Price cuts inside, has a block up front, gets out to about the 25, but then wrapped up by a whole crowd of Cleveland Browns, and that's where they'll start their next drive. And out onto the field does come Carson Wentz. I know we'd seen him on the last drive, that was to be expected, but with the way he was protecting himself on that drive, always going to be a question mark, and he comes out early doors looking like it's an 11 personnel.
Yeah, I think you can tell that he's struggling with it a little, that it's bothering him, but on that last drive, they were able to scheme up enough open receivers he could just get rid of the ball quickly.
They're kinder than me. They've given him an extra yard out to the 26. So that's where the drive will start from as Carson Wentz breaks the huddle. Justin Jefferson lined up one-on-one against Denzel Ward at the top of the formation. 3 receivers to the left, including Hockenson, Naylor, and Jordan Addison. Mason in the backfield alongside Wentz, who is in the gun. Wentz takes the ball, fakes it out to the right, and then wrapped up and taken down. Wow! The burst through the defensive line and absolutely smashed. Alex Wright hits Carson Wentz, takes him to the ground. But for Vikings fans worried, he bounced back up, no holding that left shoulder. But for the first time today, some proper penetration from the Browns line.
Yeah, that's everything the Browns are looking for. They commit 3 bodies to try and slow down Myles Garrett. It leaves one-on-ones everywhere else. Alex Wright having a career year, explodes into the backfield.
Alex Wright with his second sack of the season, taking Wentz down, and it'll now be 2nd and 18 with the ball on the 18-yard line. Ball snapped. Wentz has just a check down in Mason with pressure in his face and gets out to the 19-yard line. Greg Newsome absolutely feeling himself as he wheels away from that tackle. Little celebration dance at the end, flexing for the crowd, and the Browns are turning up.
It's another one where Carson Wentz, he releases the ball. He's jumping away from any chance he could get hit.
There is a man down on the field, and it looks like it could be an offensive lineman for the Minnesota Vikings. It is as covered as we can see potentially from here. I'm just trying to see who else is already on the field for them to see if we can figure out who is down, but whoever this ends up being for them, this could be a big loss. He's saying Jordan Mason, it might be, down on the field. I mean, yeah, actually looking at the line, good call. Gregg Rosenthal pointing out Mason for me. Greg, I mean, he had the fumble earlier in the game, but has been one of their key weapons over these last few weeks, and he gets up a little shaken, holding that left leg, but does walk off the field under his own power. That's potentially a big loss for them. We'll keep you updated on any injury. Wentz took a moment to the sideline, a conversation with Kevin O'Connell right around the 30 in front of our commentary position here at Tottenham Hotspur as he heads back to the formation and gets set up ready to call this next play. Ball is at the 19-yard line, 3rd and 17 after the huge sack from Alex Wright on Carson Wentz. First sack of the game for these Cleveland Browns. First time they've been able to get penetration up front. Just a little check down to Jordan Mason, picked up a couple of yards on the following play. But a big 3rd and 17, down 3 for the Minnesota Vikings. And well, the question is, do you go for a big chunk play, or do you just... Are we just going to see a nice draw and they'll take what they get and they'll punt the ball away?
I feel like if there was less time remaining in the game, they would go for it. But Carson Wentz, do you trust him not to make the game-killing mistake? Probably not. Probably some sort of short design, quick pass, and then you live to fight another day and hope that your defense puts you in a better position.
2:06 left in this third quarter here on talkSPORT 2. Will Gavin, Gregg Rosenthal from NFL Daily. Check out his recap show, which will be out tomorrow morning. I like it when you do the live ones, Greg, on YouTube, because if I'm doing Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night football or whatever, I can stick you on in the car on the way home. Maybe even leave a little comment, maybe even get a little shout out. I am an eager maniac after all.
You absolutely are, and I'll try to do that Monday night when I'll be fresh off the plane and talking a little Jags Chiefs. Good way to end week 5.
I am doing Jags Chiefs on Monday night on talkSPORT 2, the final game of the weekend to round things off. Don't forget we've got Cowboys Jets coming up after us from 6 p.m. Will Varney will be your man for that one, and then later tonight Ollie Hunter will take you through Sunday night football, whilst 15 floors below him, myself, Greg and Ollie will be recording NFL Daily for you. Macho fan Randy Savage is on the big screen trying to get the Browns fans going on third down. Ollie Connolly rejoins us at the commentary position. Will Gavin, Gregg Rosenthal and Ollie Connolly as they break the huddle. Wentz again in the gun. He's got CJ Ham alongside him with Mason out of the game. 2 receivers right, 1 receiver left, and Hockenson alongside the line. Schlesinger drops out. Wentz has a chance to scramble, but David Njoku's going to get Myles Garrett is going to get there, and Myles Garrett is going to take him down right around the line of scrimmage. The big man finally gets to Carson Wentz. I think he's going to pick up about a yard on the play, so not his first sack of the day, but he gets all the way around the offense and ends up being the man to take Wentz down.
It's the most ridiculous play you'll ever see. It's a 3-by-1 defensive front with Garrett as the solo man on one side. The Vikings double team him and he swoops underneath both guys and then goes gets Wentz.
Oh, by the way, the guys back in the studio, you can cut out my David Njoku mistake and just change that to Myles Garrett. It'll be really easy. Editor made sure for you. As the punt is boomed away from the 10-yard line, Jerome Ford having to come all the way across. It's got all the way to the 15, bouncing down, and it's taken a Minnesota Vikings bounce down to the 4, down to the 3-yard line, 2-yard line, where 2 special teamers have gunned it all the way down there. It's a net punt of 88 yards, but there is a flag on the field. Waiting to hear what Scott Novak has to say.
Holding. Receiving team number 28, half the distance to the goal. First down.
I'm sorry, it's an 89-yard net punt, because holding against the receiving team, and the Browns are going to start this next drive from the 1, Ollie Connolly.
And that third down just shows you how impossible it is to deal with Myles Garrett. You have to leave TJ Hockenson on him to help. He can get pressure anyway, and it takes Hockenson, who is your middle of the field go-to target on third down, to just sit down for you and pick the first down up. He's out of the route for you, so trying to figure out a plan for Myles Garrett is just so difficult.
And they trusted Carson Wentz there. They had deep routes developing on that play. Maybe shouldn't have trusted him, because I feel like that could have been a fumble if they reran that play a few times. Myles Garrett tackling Carson Wentz from behind.
So the Browns are going to start this drive from the 1-yard line. We talked earlier on about how we had plenty of Browns drive starting from excellent positions. The lookalike cam on the big screen showing a man that looks nothing like Chad Powers. Oh, it's all about this new Chad Powers show that's coming out on Disney Plus. To be fair, it looks kind of funny, but even if it's just based on an Eli Manning gag from about 5 years ago, I'm going to give it a chance. Come on, Ollie.
I'll give it a chance.
Take a break between watching film. You watch the all 22
of Chad Powers.
The Seahawks. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right.
Now we get to see Dillon Gabriel, right?
Yeah,
in a spot where you usually see a vet. We've seen him kind of be ahead of the chain slightly, be really poised and decisive, backed up on your old goal line against this Brian Flores defense. They'll try and hammer it with Winston Judkins, I imagine, for the first couple of plays. If he ends up backed up into his own end zone, we'll see if he can respond.
Dillon Gabriel today, 25 of 16, 135 yards. The 1 sack for 6 yards. 2 touchdowns, though, 1 to each of his tight ends already today, and not a bad day on British soil for the rookie. Picked in the 3rd round, and, well, I mean, people tried to sell there was going to be a quarterback controversy. I'm not sure Shedeur Sanders getting anywhere near this team anytime soon based on the way Gabriel's played today. This has been nice.
Look, the coaching staff clearly preferred Dillon Gabriel. That's why they took him in the 3rd round of the draft. Camp started out a little rocky by all accounts, but then he had an injury, and in those 4 or 5 days off, I'm not sure what happened, because the minute he came back from his injury, the reports were much better at practice, thought he played well in the preseason. I was skeptical of him as a 3rd round pick, but so far so good. If you find a long-term backup, even at the worst-case scenario, that's an excellent third-round pick.
Yeah, what we're seeing today is a high-end backup performance. To get that as a rookie is really difficult. You don't see that with guys taking 94th overall 5 games into the season.
Harrison Smith starting this drive on the bench. You can see Metellus in at linebacker up from safety, and it will be a handoff to try and just create some space moving forward. Maybe a yard, maybe 2 on the play. Getting out from away from that end zone, and that's going to be a 2nd and 8 from about the 3.
They've done a good job running the ball throughout the day. High success rate, some big plays from Quinton Junkins, a few more that were called back by penalty, but that's been very important to how they've run their offense today.
Back in the huddle, they're going to call it 2nd and 9 from the 2. 2nd and a short 9. Gabriel back under centre. He's got a fullback, Fannin playing at fullback. Junkins in behind him, calls a check on the play, sends a man in motion from right to left. Malachi Corey back into the game. Looks to hand the ball off again. One cut up the field from Junkins, almost stripped away from him, gets out to the 10-yard line, does brilliantly to hold on to the ball as Eric Wilson hits him there, and that will give them a 3rd and very manageable 1 from the 10.
It's so impressive from Junkins. When they drafted him and Sampson together, there was this idea they were going to have the thunder and lightning, and he would be kind of the hammer on early downs. He can do it both. He can explode on one cut and go. Great vision, runs behind his pads, just a great all-around back.
So as the 3rd quarter comes to an end here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the Cleveland Browns lead the Minnesota Vikings 17-14. Final quarter coming up for you. The first of 3 live NFL games tonight for you here on talkSPORT 2. Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT 2. David Njoku wheeling away to the sideline up there. He's got his helmet off, but he's absolutely bouncing around as the live band here at Tottenham, who've added a real flair to this game, are playing a bit of Thunderstruck, and the crowd are getting right behind it. You talked about thunder and lightning with Quinton Junkins and Dylan Sampson. Well, it's Thunderstruck, AC/DC, that's getting everyone going right now. Wearing a Myles Garrett jersey, the guitarist, but it's definitely David Njoku who's getting this crowd revved up right now. Huge 3rd and 1 for the Cleveland Browns. 4th quarter getting underway, 17-14 game. Cleveland lead the Minnesota Vikings as Gabriel breaks the huddle, gets under center, bit of a wing formation behind him, going heavy set, hands the ball off, gets right up around the line of scrimmage. Have they given him Quinton Junkins? It looks like they're going to say that the Minnesota Vikings have held that 3rd down, and the punting unit will have to come out for the Cleveland Browns. Huge hold for Brian Flores and this Vikings defense.
All day their front, especially on the interior, has gotten pushed around. That is a massive way to get your ball back for the offense in what should be good field position.
Like you said, they've been very rotational on that line today. It hasn't just been Hargrave and Allen like we saw early in the season, but They managed to get that big stop up front now, and now the punter coming right from the B in the middle of the Browns on the end zone. High arcing punt, barely going to get past the 50, going to be fielded by Miles Price at the 45. Had a block in front of him, cutting off to the right, out to the 45, and inside the 45-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. The Minnesota Vikings, for the first time today, will start a drive from Cleveland territory. And we're going to see if Carson Wentz can come up and give them a lead in this game. 17-14 down, 14:05 remaining on this game. And I'm just looking to see if we got Jordan Mason back into the game or not. There's a back alongside Carson Wentz, but it's perfectly blocked off from where I'm standing, so I can't tell who's in there with him. He does have two tight ends in this formation, though, as they break the huddle. No, it's going to be Xavier Scott in at running back. That means Mason's out, but they have rotated to Scott the last 2 weeks on certain drives. Moves Hockenson from left to right with Wentz under centre, brings Addison in line and hands it off to Scott, who is absolutely mauled behind the line of scrimmage, and the Browns are claiming the ball is down. The Browns are claiming it's their ball. Another fumble, another Vikings running back puts the ball on the ground. And that's a huge play for the Cleveland Browns, just as the Vikings get to start in opposition territory. What a huge play. Isaiah McGuire hits the running back, wheels away in celebration. And we get some flags on the play afterwards. But that's a huge, huge moment in this fourth quarter. Ollie Connolly, what are we seeing?
Shelby Harris got hurt on the play for the Browns. I don't know if the flag after.
Necessary roughness in the 93 of Cleveland. It'll be a 15-yard penalty. First down and 10. Timeout.
So Shelby Harris gets called for the penalty after the play, but the Cleveland Brown offense is on the field. Fumble is ruled. And with 14 minutes left in this fourth quarter, that is a huge, huge play with the Browns going from right to left as we're watching. A chance to extend their three-point lead.
A brutal situation for the Vikings. You finally get the ball in plus territory. You think sudden change situation. That's typically when teams, Kevin O'Connell for sure, would try and take some kind of strike down the field to Justin Jefferson. Instead, he gets a little conservative with it. He hands it off, just trying to establish the run, and you cough up the fumble.
So that was Shelby Harris and Isaiah McGuire both in on the play. Reminds me a little of the Kyron Williams play where he got a forearm right there, Xavier Scott, to the helmet while Shelby Harris was coming on the other side, gets the ball free, and the Browns are now set up 20 yards ahead of where they just were.
This is the Browns defense, right? You see the special Myles Garrett play, but they have studs all across the defensive line. All these guys can make plays. They all play behind the backfield and having a big game today.
So, going to be out at the 30-yard line as we come back after this, live on talkSPORT 2. Sweet Caroline finishes in the stadium. Dylan Gabriel is in the gun with the ball at the 30. Fakes the handoff to Quinton Junk. Is immediately under pressure early there. Forced to throw the ball away. Jonathan Grenard in on the pressure, and that'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 30 as we're back here on talkSPORT 2. The Cleveland Browns 17-14 up on the Minnesota Vikings, and after a second time today a Vikings running back puts the ball into the dirt. From the turnover, the Browns have a chance to extend their lead. 13:57 left in the 4th quarter. Gabriel getting back under centre. Will Gavin, Gregg Rosenthal and Ollie Connolly on the call for you. Gabriel calling for a check at the line. Bring Malachi Corley across the formation. Gives the ball instead into the gut of his running back. Gets maybe 4 yards on the carry there, Quinton Junkins. Oh, and rumbles for more and gets on the outside. Didn't go down. Picked up maybe an extra 2 or 3 on that one to the outside. I was convinced that play was dead, and instead it's going to be 3rd and 4 from the 36.
He is such a violent runner. He just keeps on churning and churning. He pops people on contact. Just the perfect 1st down back.
I love a back that falls forwards and gives me an extra couple of yards. Give me a Frank Gore every day of the week. Okay, your Saquon Barkleys and stuff are nice as well, but give me 6 when you're meaning to get 4, and I'll always love you in the backfield. Gabriel stomps his feet. Jerome Ford alongside him. 2 receivers, right, Harold Fannin to his left, and Njoku in line. He's under pressure, wrapped up again, managed to escape it. Little skip up, little step up into the pocket, but eventually goes down under the challenge of Ivan Pace Jr. He'll be the one who records the sack. And that means that Browns drive finishes on a 3 and out. They'll be punting the ball from right around the 34-yard line.
Jonathan Grenard is kicking himself for not getting that sack. He looped in on the inside on a stunt. He has been all over Gabriel, but hasn't been able to finish plays. That was a great team defense effort by the Minnesota Vikings.
So punter right back around the 20-yard line.
Ooh.
Nearly hit on that one, but manages to get the ball away down to the 15. It's going to go out of bounds, maybe around the 20-yard line. Miles Price underneath it as they're going to mark this ball off up at the 21, 22. I'm watching this official all the way up to the 25-yard line. Well, now much further up the field than I was expecting, and the Vikings get away with one after the turnover. The Browns unable to capitalise. 12:24 left in the 4th quarter, and the Minnesota Vikings will have another chance to come out and drive. Right, with another bit of music on the big screen from the live band, let's take another break here because we want to stay with you right through to the end of the game, through the last 10 minutes or so. So let's get these out of the way, and we'll be back with you momentarily here on talkSPORT 2. Back with NFL Live on talkSPORT 2. Will Gavin, Gregg Rosenthal from NFL Daily, and Ollie Connolly in the booth for you on talkSPORT 2. The first of 3 live NFL games on talkSPORT 2 this evening. Cowboys Jets coming up after 6. Plus, we'll of course keep you up to date on all 6 of those 6 p.m. kickoffs. Then at 9, the finale of the Sanderson Farms Open, which will only run until 10:30 this evening after some weather issues, so we'll just get the final 5 or 6 holes of that for you. And then later on this evening, Patriots, Bills. I'd like to get your thoughts on that if we get an opportunity later today. I think that's a much more fun game than maybe it looked like on paper going into the season. In the meantime, fun game here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The Browns up 17-14 on the Vikings, and Wentz coming out under centre. They're starting this drive from the 25, down 3, 12:24 remaining, and Wentz pitches it off. Mason back into the game, gets back up to the line of scrimmage, maybe loses half a yard on that one. I think they're going to call it 2nd and 10 from the 25. Good to see Mason back into the game, but no gain on that play.
Yeah, he's holding that ball with both hands as he gets torpedoed.
I think there's going to be a lot of that for the remainder of this game. Wentz under centre brings both tight ends back to inline block, leaves Jefferson and Addison outside, Mason in the backfield, calls a check at the line of scrimmage, back under centre, fakes the handoff, steps back, he's got time in the pocket, looking for Addison down the field, and that's in and out of the hands of Jordan Addison. Grant Delpit thought he should have made a play on the ball and is disappointed not to get the interception, but a throw with anticipation, maybe a little early for Addison, but I think you've probably got to catch that.
I think you got to catch that one. It's interesting, the Browns have changed things up in the second half. They were playing a ton of man-to-man coverage, which is how they normally play in the first half. They've switched to zone A. They want vision on Carson Wentz. They know he's going to give them one. He just gave them one and they couldn't come down with it.
Yeah, Delpit did get a finger on that to deflect it. Nice job by him on that play.
3rd and 10 from the 25. The Browns fans getting loud in this stadium. Wentz in the gun, makes a check at the line of scrimmage. He's got Xavier Scott in alongside him, has that option on the check down. Instead goes for the deep shot, right to midfield. Justin Jefferson pulls into the 45, down to the 40 and into Browns territory. Sensational from Justin Jefferson, the LSU man, into Browns territory, past the 40-yard line. First down Minnesota, and a heck of a lot more.
When he goes up for that ball, it reminds me of Tecmo Bowl when a receiver would just glitch and he'd jump through the top of the screen. Ronnie Hickman, the safety for the Browns, just got Jefferson by the ankle or he would have taken it to the house.
37-yard line of the Cleveland Browns then for the Vikings after the chunk play. Sending Xavier Scott in motion, Wentz in empty, goes for a screen to Jefferson, down to the 35, out to about the 31-yard of the Browns. Nice play call from Kevin O'Connell for a short 4-5-yard pickup on that one, and it'll be 2nd and 5 from the 31.
We just mentioned the Browns have moved to play more zone, and all of a sudden you're giving Justin Jefferson a free release off the line of scrimmage. You come back, how do you attack zones? You throw screens, you throw the ball to your best player on a screen as quick as you can, so this is the push-pull tension you have with trying to cover Justin Jefferson.
32-yard line then, 2nd and 5. Wentz in under centre this time. Addison and Jefferson right in front of us, or to the right-hand side of his line. Sends Naylor in motion, looks to fake the handoff to Mason. Has his wide receiver, tight end out on the far side. Josh Oliver puts the ball in the ground under pressure from Greg Newsome, and suddenly 3rd and 5 at the 32. A long field goal from here if they're forced to take it of 50 yards. 5 yards for the first down. Big down in this game.
I like the confidence that Kevin O'Connell is showing in Carson Wentz. Like, drop back, slanging it, let him throw it on 3rd and 17. Last drive, that they are not being afraid with Carson Wentz as their quarterback.
3rd and 2 on the left hash. Wentz in the gun. Mason alongside him. 3 receivers stacked to his right. Justin Jefferson single covered by Greg Newsome to the left-hand side. 1 deep safety on the field. Wentz has some time in the pocket. Is forced to evade pressure. Goes down right around the 35-yard line. The Browns bringing him down for a sack, and it's going to be Malik Collins, the defensive tackle, in for that one. And they lose a couple of yards, extending the field goal as well. Big stop for the Browns after the big gain earlier in the drive for Justin Jefferson.
If Wentz has a problem as a quarterback, when he feels that pressure coming, he usually dips his head, tries to run up the middle. Could have maybe hung in there a little bit longer.
So it will be a 51-yard field goal attempt for Will Reichard. He's 3 of 3 on the season on attempts over 50 yards. Ball is down, snap is good, and the ball is no good. Wide right, Will Reichard misses the field goal, and the Browns retain their 17-14 lead. A big defensive stop, a missed field goal for Will Reichard, and this game remains in the Browns' favour with 9:41 left in the 4th quarter. Wow. Greg, that might decide this game at this point.
It might. Will Reichert, who came into the league like a house on fire, one of the best kickers in the league right off the bat, struggled a little bit in training camp, has had some misses this year, that coming up small in a big spot, and it also gives the Browns great field position.
Yeah, the ball is spotted at that 41-yard line. We've talked a lot about how the Browns have had good field position in this game as the live band. We had a little jump around the fans with beers in hands, rapping along to every single word of the 1980s House of Pain hit. This feels like maybe one of the whitest moments in North London history. I'm a huge fan of it, I want to be clear. They were playing it before the game earlier. We were having a great time down on the field. The commissioner was chatting to Nat Coombs on Channel 5. I'm sure we'll hear plenty about that on the talkSPORT coverage when he's back with us in the next couple of weeks' time. And look, we've just heard 61,000 people in here. It's absolutely raucous. Barely anyone has left their seats. Still plenty of purple and orange and brown out in the stands. Like, they're giving us a really great game when everyone was being pretty sniffy going into this weekend.
And I think the Vikings are, if they don't win this game, and this is a big drive here for them, they'll really be upset about the missed opportunities. They had the great field position, fumbled that away. They had the early fumble. Justin Jefferson has given you two highlight-worthy plays. One's called back by penalty, one you don't finish the drive. The Browns have to be feeling very good about where they're at.
They do, and I think it's time for the Vikings defensive line to show up in one-on-one matchups in pass-obvious situations, right? You need one of Jonathan Grenard, Dallas Turner, someone to give you a game-wrecking play. You've got a young rookie quarterback, his eyes will drop as the pressure comes in. Someone's got to go and take the ball away.
That 38-yarder, by the way, sent Justin Jefferson over 100 yards for the day. 10 targets, 6 catches for 102, and that is a second straight game here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that he's gone over 100 yards, and of course last time he had a rushing touchdown in that game, a rarity for Justin Jefferson. But it's the Cleveland Browns offense that were coming out and ready to break the huddle now, just waiting for the word from Scott Novak to get into that huddle at the 41-yard line. Dylan Gabriel breaks it. He's got Jerry Jeudy to this left-hand side, two tight ends to the right, and Isaiah Bond out there as well. Quinton Junkins in the backfield. What a day he's had at back. And then move Harold Fannin into a full-back role. It goes into the gut of Quinton Junkins, gets out to the line of scrimmage, maybe even a yard short, and there is a flag on the play in the area of holding.
That's a potentially drive-killing play with the rookie quarterback there.
Offense number 72, that's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's Katie Leviston, one of those rotational players into the lineup today.
Give an assist to Brian Flores on that one. He's showing a lot more late movement before the snap with the line. He's bouncing guys in and out, shuffling around gaps. He's getting these guys to try and jump.
Yeah, nice play from Eric Wilson on that play to get a bit of penetration and hit Junkins right around the line of scrimmage. Maybe would have even been the loss for the yard, but instead it's going to be a 1st and 20 all the way back at the 31. What's Dylan Gabriel got for us with Junkins alongside him? Two receivers stacked to his right, single receiver to his left, and David Njoku along the line blocks and then gets out and is available as the option at the 35, out to the 40, pushing Harrison Smith forward, back to the original line of scrimmage. 10-yard pickup for big David Njoku on the play. They might even give him 11 with a little move from the officials at the end, and that'll now be a 2nd and 9 from the 42-yard line.
That's really good stuff from Dylan Gabriel. That was one of the wonkier Brian Flores fake pressures that we've seen all day today, and he just cruises through it. He keeps his eyes, he finds the open man, and he gets the pickup.
Ivan Pace loves a blitz, and he came on a delay there, but Gabriel read it well, got the ball off to Njoku, and a big pickup on 1st down, leaving him in 2nd and 9. He's under centre now, changes the play at the line of scrimmage. The centre calls out a change in protection. 3 receivers to the right. He goes to Junkins. Junkins with miles of space on the right side, out to the 50. 1st down, 45, and pushed out to bounds on the far side. Quinton Junkins again finding the edge of this Vikings defence and finding acres of green grass ahead of him.
And give credit to Harold Fannin on that one. He stood right at the snap with the palms up saying, what's the play? I don't know the play. All of a sudden he's blocking and he springs a down block for Quinton Junkins to go pick up some yards.
Isaiah Rodgers in on the tackle, pushing him out of bounds, but it is into Vikings territory. 17-14. The Browns lead this game. 8 minutes left on the clock. 1st and 10 now from the 44-yard line as Fannin goes back in motion again. Junkins in the backfield, and he will hand it off. No, fake the handoff to Junkins. Has was Njoku available on the check down. Little high for him, and Njoku unable to bring that one down. Metellus in the area as well, but I think that's just an overthrow from Dylan Gabriel.
Tough one for Gabriel as a lefty rolling to the right. Wasn't quite able to get around it and lead it in front of Njoku.
It was a lovely simultaneous nod from Greg and I, as you said. Tough one for a lefty rolling to the right. Do love a lefty quarterback, though. Something a bit different. And a couple of them in the NFL right now. 44-yard line then, 2nd and 10, 7:47. The clock does stop with that incompletion. This time Gabriel is in the gun with Judkins alongside him, sends Fannin in motion again, hands the ball off to Judkins up the middle, gets maybe 4 on the play, straight up the middle, tackled in the end. Ivan Pace in on that one, Dallas Turner as well, and they're going to call it actually only 3 yards, so 3rd and 7, ball about the 43-yard line.
Big play call here for Kevin Stefanski in this game, 7.5 minutes left. You're on the edge of field goal range, so if you picked up 5, you'd have a tough decision to make. Very curious what kind of call he goes with here.
The Vikings fans here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium getting loud. Dylan Gabriel in the gun, Jerome Ford now in alongside him. A sim pressure being shown and dropping out those mugged up linebackers. Gabriel goes for a big shot over the outside looking for Isaiah Bond, and that's going to go incomplete. And there was a bit of razzle-dazzle up front from Brian Flores. And you have to think Dylan Gabriel sent possibly just a little bit off his point by that.
Yeah, and the first time we've seen him have some tetchy feet where he could see, I'm not sure who's coming, who's not. Guys are showing down with pressure, then they're dropping out, and the ball hangs in the air.
So they're going to be forced to bring this one out and punt it, as you said, right on the edge of field goal range. I mean, it would have been an absolutely huge, 61-yarder from where they are now. So they do elect to punt and not give the Vikings potentially good field position with a miss. Up just 3, 17-14. The ball is up for the punt, high, arcing. It's going to fall just short of the end zone. Kept in bounds. Sensational special teams play. Fallen on in the end as well. And that's exactly what the Browns need, getting down to the 1, but you're saying they're going to call it a touchback. What?
It looked like he made a great play, but the second Brown who got involved, I think, rolled into the end zone as he was touching it. I don't know about that, but that was the call.
Yeah, Donovan McMillan spotted it down at the 1, and then Rex Sunahara, the long snapper, fell on it at the 1-yard line. They're saying he fell into the end zone.
I think that was good.
I think it was good.
From the angle we're seeing, it looks good. Is that a reviewable play? Is it because he's in the end zone when he touches it initially, maybe? No, he's not. So Sunahara goes down at the long snapper. He's sliding along the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, his right foot. Yeah. His right foot just touches the white paint. That's tight as anything. Greg Livid, let those plays stand. Good special teams plays.
It's the rule of cool. If it's a cool play, just it's close, let it happen.
That's right. Dungeons and Dragons jokes being made in the booth right now. Brilliant stuff. Are you a Dungeons and Dragons player, Greg?
That was not an intentional one, but I'll take it.
That's what it is, sadly. Me and Ben Solak, I think, are the only people nerdy enough to like American football and D&D. I've revealed a lot about myself there, haven't I? Maybe don't watch the YouTube stream anymore. Just listen to us online, because I've gone very red-faced. 6:57 remaining. There is a conversation currently going on, and they've just moved the ball over to the right hash, and it will mean the Vikings get start from the 20 instead of the 1-yard line. Down 3 in this game, 17-14, 6:53 remaining. Wentz in the gun, one back alongside him, 2 receivers right, 2 to the left. He sends Jalen Naylor in motion across that formation, gives the ball to Jordan Mason, tucks it and gets outside the 20, out to about the 23-yard line, ripped to the ground by Grant Delpit out on that side. Carson Schlesinger on the tackle as well, and they'll call it about a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 out at the 23. At 24 they're going to call it, so 2nd and 6 at the 24.
They're not giving up on this running game. Hasn't done as much here in the second half. Mason is the guy they're going to trust despite the early fumble.
Judkins over 100 yards on the day, 21 yards, 112. Jordan Mason just 41 yards on the day, 411. Very different run games, but finding TJ Hockenson right around the first down marker. Carson Wentz there, and that is going to be a first down, Minnesota. TJ Hockenson getting involved in the passing
That's
game.
really important. They've been washing him out essentially for most of the second half to keep extra help on Myles Garrett. I think the go-to matchup for them is moving the pieces around and just isolating TJ Hockenson and picking up whichever defensive back is left covering him.
So they get out to the 31-yard line. First down, the Minnesota Vikings break the huddle. Jefferson lined up on the far left-hand side against Greg Newsome. 2 receivers stacked to the right, and a tight end in Hockinson in line. Naylor goes in motion from left to right, straight drop back for Wentz, finds Jordan Addison pulling the ball in. It's not for a lot of yardage, maybe 6 on the play, but a spectacular diving catch, and that'll be a 2nd and 4 at the 36.
Jim Schwartz is feeling it. He thinks he can go win this game. They do not send early down pressure in Cleveland ever, and now he sends a free runner off the end. Wentz is able to get rid of it, but you can tell Jim Schwartz is thinking, if we can go and get one takeaway, we can close this thing.
Getting the ball out quickly, they'll call it 2nd and 5 from the 36-yard line. Carson Wentz comes under centre. Mason the back in behind him. Jefferson split out to the right, Addison to the left comes in line. They hand the ball off to Mason, he's got space to the right side, out to the 40, 45-yard line, 50, wrenched down right around the 45-yard line of the Cleveland Browns, but a big pickup for Jordan Mason on that one. Ronnie Hickman, the safety, in on the tackle, and that'll be a Vikings first down, and they're into Browns territory once more. Oh, they're calling it back. They're calling it back. I think everyone's marching their way back down the field.
Offense number 60, that's a 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
God, that was so loud. I heard offense number 60-something. Maybe Joe Huber on the hold there. That's Jordan Mason's biggest run of the day by some distance, and it's all called back for a holding play. So it'll be now with 4:55 remaining, all the way back at the 35-yard line. Tough.
And if you're the Vikings, you got to think about the amount of possessions that are left in this game. 4:55 to go. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. You can't count on necessarily getting the ball back again. This is a massive drive, and you'd like to play maybe at a little quicker pace.
Sorry, they took an absolute age to mark this out, because the back judge was stood at the 38-yard line with the ball, and everyone stood around, and I thought it seems like an odd spot, and then eventually he finally walked the ball back 10 yards. Felt a little unnecessary, all of that, but we are going to be back at the 28-yard line, and it's going to be a 2nd and long from there. The down markers are all over the shop. They're marked out that this is only a 7-yard play, but surely after having that big hold. 2nd and 13, there you go, ball at the 28. The first down marker on the far side is completely wrong in this situation, but let's see what happens. Wentz in the gun, finds a little check down to Hopkins, steps inside, tries to make a man miss, but isn't able to, and it's wrapped up around the 25-yard line, loses 3 on the play, and that'll be 3rd and 16. He said it, Jim Schwartz is getting in his bag.
He is, and that's a pretty poor call from Kevin O'Connell. If you got to throw the tight end screen to Hawkins, or you want to bluff it off Myles Garrett, that's who he's been staying in to help protect. Instead, they kind of show that and pre-snap, and the Browns are able to rally towards it.
Worked earlier in the game, not working so well now. Now they're calling it 3rd and 11. These screens and these markers are all over the shop. We'll call it if it's a first down. Let's just do that. As Wentz has the ball at the 25-yard line, stomps his foot, waits for the call, gets it. Options to the left and to the right, but he is wrapped up and goes down right around the 23-yard line. Malik Collins again, his 2nd sack of the day, and that Vikings drive stalls in their own territory, having thought they got out all the way to the Browns 40. A horrible penalty and back-to-back negative plays, and suddenly the Browns up 3 are going to get the ball back inside 4 minutes with a chance to get their 2nd win of the season.
What a pass rush by Malik Collins. Nothing fancy there. He's been one of the better defensive tackles in the league playing next to Myles Garrett.
Right, the punt is going to be all the way around the 7-yard line. High, arcing punt to the right-hand side. It's going to be initially waved off, then gathered at the 29, out to the 40. They're going out of bounds right around the 41-yard line. And that's where the Browns will start their next drive, and that's where we will bid a fond farewell to Gregg Rosenthal. Sensational work from you today. We'll see you in the talkSPORT offices in about 8 hours' time for a bit of NFL Daily. Don't forget to check out that show. Brilliant stuff as always,
Let's
Greg.
have a classic ending now, shall we?
That's what we're looking for. Gregg Rosenthal leaving the call. Wonderful stuff from him. Myself, Will Gavin, Ollie Connolly still with you. Still on the YouTube page at talkSPORT USA, where you can watch us there. Still on the talkSPORT app, talkSPORT 2, and via DAB and online. 17-14, the Browns lead the Minnesota Vikings. 3:27 left on the clock, and Dylan Gabriel will start this drive from the 41 with the fullback and Quinton Junkins in behind him. Junkins does get the ball, makes his first tackle a miss, but gets only in fact, back to the line of scrimmage maybe on that one. That'll be a 2nd and 10 right around the 40-yard line, and the Minnesota Vikings are going to start using those timeouts now.
Yeah, and we're going to see how Kevin Stefanski feels about Dylan Gabriel. This feels like 3 straight runs, right? Do we play for field position? Do we give Wentz one more opportunity? Would you be willing to roll Dylan Gabriel out? Would you be willing to give him a chance to try and end this game on his own?
It's not quite a first down and victory, but it's not too far off. A couple of first downs could win this game if they can keep the clock running. Do they put the ball in the rookie Dylan Gabriel's hands, or do they just try? Quinton Junkins, who's had an excellent day today, do you just run the ball, not turn it over, and try and force the Vikings to drive at you all the way from inside their own 20? Gabriel back out under centre again. He's got Fannin as a full-back and Quinton Junkins behind him. Does have Judy as an option out to the left. The Byron Murphy put in press coverage against him. It does go to Junkins. Junkins makes one cut, and then Javon Hargrave, the grave digger, tackles him for a 1-yard loss down to the 39-yard line. And Minnesota will take their 2nd timeout. 3:19 remaining, 17-14 game.
And Stefanski just told us, right? He puts 3 tight ends on the field, 1 in the backfield, 2 on the line of scrimmage. We are just going to hammer you with the run. They're not able to pick anything up, and now you're left in a bit of a bind. Do you just try and get the final timeout burn? Do you put the ball in Gabriel's hands in a true drop-back sense and allow Brian Flores to tee off?
I kind of think they're just going to go run up the gut, don't fumble the ball, mate.
Back the defense.
Quidshon, just don't put the ball on the ground, please and thank you. Imagine if they don't know. Imagine if we get like some kind of naked boot. So it kind
They're
of
in the gun. Empty.
And he is in the gun, and he is empty. We might see something here. Gabriel with the ball in the gun. Jerome Ford to his left. 3 receivers, 2 of them tight ends to his right, and Jerry Jeudy to his left. They're going to go and try and win it here. Gabriel shot downfield, and Isaiah Bond, absolute miscommunication play, thrown to about 20 yards of grass. No one anywhere near it, and that's cost them a Minnesota Vikings timeout, or potentially 40 seconds off the clock. It'll be 4th and 11 and a punt situation for the Browns.
And a chance to potentially ice the game. Bond had a step on the DB covering him. It was just a miscommunication. There was a chance there for Gabriel to connect with Bond, and they just couldn't pull it in.
He expected him to go upfield against Byron Murphy Jr. and said he cut to the sideline. And that miscommunication led to this 4th and long and punt situation. Ball is up at the 30, spiralling up in the air, end over end kick at the 15, fielded by Miles Price, out to the 20. Ivan Pace in there trying to give him a block, but he doesn't get one, and the Browns will tackle him out right around the 19-yard line. And so down 3, 1 timeout in pocket, 3:05 remaining. What have you got, Kevin O'Connell? What have you got, Carson Wentz? Can you go and win this game of football, or maybe even send us to overtime on this Sunday at Tottenham?
And you got to start thinking players, not plays, always. And so you look for Justin Jefferson. You try and find out on 1st down, how do they want to play Justin Jefferson in the most crucial spots? Will they just play him in strict man coverage? Will they try and double him up? And then can you try and feed someone like Jalen Naylor from there?
Right, this drive will start at the 20. 1st and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings, getting ready to break the huddle. The Browns fans in the stadium being encouraged to get loud as Wentz breaks the huddle. He's got 3 receivers to his right, including Hawkinson, split wide right. He now comes inside with Mason alongside him, and Jefferson is soloed off to the left-hand side. Addison now goes in motion, low snap, initially fumbled, but Mason gets some space, up the middle, 25, out to the 28-yard line, goes down about a yard short of the 1st down marker. I initially thought he was going to fake that handoff and look to Jefferson at the top of the formation, but Mason finds himself a nice crease, and it'll be a 9-yard pickup. They go hurry up. So it'll be 2nd and 1 from the 29-yard line. Wentz in the gun again. Ward showing pressure on this left-hand side. Drops out. Instead, Wentz has Jalen Naylor, has a 1st down, and has him going out of bounds right around the line to gain 1st down Vikings, because he was going backwards. They will roll that clock. 2:29 remaining. Will they try and get a play off before the 2-minute warning? They're right at the 32-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings.
That's exactly what O'Connell wants to see. The Browns are sticking in man-to-man coverage. Can you find Justin Jefferson?
Wentz gets the ball in the gun, cocks his arm, looks for Hawkinson. Hawkinson gets it at the 35, 36-yard line, goes down, gets a modest gain on that one, maybe 5 yards on the play. The Browns quite happy just before the 2-minute warning to give them a cushion, let them take 5 or 6 yards on the play. And as we hit the 2-minute warning here on talkSPORT 2, the Cleveland Browns have a 3-point lead over the Minnesota Vikings, but the Vikings with the ball at their 37-yard line. It's set up for a grandstand finish here on NFL Live on talkSPORT 2. NFL Live on talkSPORT 2 with me, Gavin, Ollie Connolly alongside me as we get inside the 2-minute warning. The Cleveland Browns and the Minnesota Vikings 17-14 game. We thought this would be a tight one. We thought it would be low scoring. It's been a heck of a fun game. I'm not going to lie to you. And at the 2-minute warning, to set this up for you, a field goal ties it, potentially overtime. A touchdown potentially wins it. The Browns have all 3 timeouts. The Vikings just 1. They have 2nd and 4 with the ball at the 37. If you're the Browns defensive coordinator here, Jim Schwartz, Ollie Connolly, how are you approaching this game as Joe Thomas is trying to get the crowd loud?
You again go players, not players. Who are our best players? Well, we get Myles Garrett, so we don't need to invest anything extra into the rush. Carson Wentz will be aggressive. He may make a mistake. He'll give us an opportunity to take it away. They've been playing a lot of man coverage. I think it's time to maybe get into a zone, keep some vision on the ball, dare him to fit it into a tight window to Justin Jefferson and try to finish this game.
Myles Garrett today, just 3 tackles on the day, no quarterback hits, no sacks. Could he have a big moment in this game? He's definitely not been pedestrian. He's affected the game left, right and centre. He's affected the Vikings game plan. He's informed what they do on offense on almost every snap, but they have done a good job of keeping the ball away from him when they've needed to. Is now his moment. Justin Jefferson on the side, 2 superstars on the field at the same time. Wentz in the gun, 2nd and 4 at the 37. Checks at the line of scrimmage. Jordan Mason is alongside him. Jefferson opposite Ward in front of us. 2 receivers to the left and Hockenson in line. They are showing pressure, but they're only going to bring 4. The Browns. Wentz has time with the ball. Finds Hockenson over the middle. 45 out to the 50, down to about the 53, maybe 52-yard line. Sorry, it's 48-yard line even. The 52-yard line doesn't exist. The 48-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. But the point is, across midfield for another Minnesota Vikings first down. 1:40 remaining on the clock. 1st and 10 at the 48. Wentz in the gun. Mason alongside him. Again, Wentz has some time on the ball. Pressure late coming there. Jefferson, 30-yard line. Holds the catch in against Denzel Ward. And it is the superstar, Justin Jefferson, making the big play, getting them into field goal range, getting out of bounds. Absolutely brilliant from Justin Jefferson.
You go to your biggest plays in the biggest moments. Justin Jefferson makes plays. Myles Garrett had a one-on-one, could not get home to the quarterback.
Carson Wentz in the gun, Jordan Mason alongside him, and they're going to call a timeout. The Cleveland Browns gassed after that play. The defensive line are all on the ground, and I have to say, on that play, I initially said Wentz had time in the pocket, but both Malik Collins and Mason Graham were collapsing that line, and he got that ball out at just the right moment, because otherwise we're talking about a big Browns defensive player, maybe a game killer.
And we talked about him before, but it's Myles Garrett. It's his time to show up. They've taken TJ Hockenson out of the pass pro that they've run for most of the game to keep Myles Garrett quiet. They need him now driving to try and win the game, and so Hockenson is out there running routes. He's not staying in to protect. This is Myles Garrett's chance.
The 21-yarder to Justin Jefferson, getting them into makeable field goal range. Could we see this game eked out into overtime? Could we see the Browns getting the ball out back with timeouts remaining? 11 of 7 for 123 yards for Jefferson today. Wentz in the gun, it's empty in the backfield, checks the play at the line of scrimmage, acknowledged by the players around him. He's got two to the right of Mason and Jefferson. He's looking to the left-hand side though. Goes to Jalen Naylor behind the line of scrimmage to the 25. Gets out of bounds right around the 22-yard line. Nice pickup on first down. Stefanski keeping it nice. Kevin O'Connell keeping it nice and simple, getting it out to the 24-yard line of the Browns.
And this is the chess match right now. Jim Schwartz is bailing everyone out. He's showing some pressure, but bailing guys out. He really thinks he can tempt Carson Wentz to a back-breaking mistake.
2nd and 5 now, ball from the 23. 1:05 remaining, 3-point game. Browns up on the Vikings. Vikings just outside the red zone. Wentz in the gun. Mason alongside him. Addison to the left. Jefferson, to the left, Allison to the right. He goes for Mason on the outside, out to the 25, gets nearly to the 20. He's about 2 yards short of the line to gain, goes out of bounds, and they will call it out of bounds. The clock doesn't continue. He maybe gains 2 yards on the play, giving them a manageable 3rd and 3. And most importantly, Jordan Mason dives for the sideline and stops that clock once more. 57 seconds remaining.
It's a smart play from Jordan Mason. It's a smart play from Carson Wentz. Everything was covered downfield. The Carson Wentz we normally know, but still tried to fit it in any way to try and win the game. Instead, he gets to the check down.
Kevin O'Connell having a word with Scott Novak on the sideline. Not sure what's being said here, but it is holding up the play as Carson Wentz is in the huddle, calling a play in. But O'Connell having some serious words with Scott Novak ahead of this next play. 21 up, maybe just saying to him, just, look for the hole. Look for the pass interference. They've been grabbing us all day. It's a clever coach who gets in the referee's ear at the right moment and maybe just tips him towards something he's seen there all game. The crowd is getting absolutely raucous here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. This is the finish that we were all looking for with 57 seconds remaining. No, whoa.
So we do not let 10 seconds.
Is he broken? Why is he broken? Back. Right, so the conversation was about play clock. That's what the conversation was. Well, not play clock, game clock. They've added 2 seconds back onto the clock. And it looks like the Cleveland Browns elected to take a timeout on the play. So are they saying he was actually out of bounds and Cleveland decided it was inbounds, decided to take a timeout? Either way, timeout remaining for each team. 59 seconds, 3rd and 3, ball at the 21. Wentz under centre. Mason in behind him, 2 receivers right. He sends Jordan Addison in motion to the left alongside Jefferson. Fakes the handoff, goes to Addison outside, gets the first down and a little bit more out towards the 16-yard line. Absolutely hammered in the backfield by Miles Harden. Outside by Miles Harden, and the clock will continue to run. 52 seconds remaining. In fact, I think the Vikings may have called. No, the Browns have called their final timeout.
They're saving time. They know the Vikings have a really good chance to score here. They want to have a chance to go win the game.
They're saving time though, and that was a first down. Like, do you try and put some clock pressure on the Vikings? Do you try and make sure that they're not going to get a further opportunity? Like, 54 seconds remaining. I know it's kind of settling for overtime, but I like clock pressure in that situation.
Yeah, and how many missed field goals have we seen already this season? Why would you not make it that bit more tense?
It's always, to me, the best example of that is Super Bowl 49, when Belichick elected not to take the timeout, made the Seahawks sweat on it.
Made them panic.
And made them panic, and made them make the play that I think has been regretted for the entire career of a solid 40 to 50 people on that sideline. The Malcolm Butler interception, of course, we're talking about. Right. Wentz in the gun, 54 seconds remaining, 1st and 10, ball at the 17. Mason goes in motion, Wentz gets it, goes for a little screen to Addison, steps inside, does make a man miss, out to the 15, down to about the 12-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Could have been a loss of yardage there, instead picks up about 6 on the play, and they're going to call it, in fact 5, they're calling it 2nd and 5, ball on the 12. Clock is running, 37 seconds remaining. Wentz in the gun, Mason alongside him, choosing to hold on to that last timeout. 30 seconds on the clock, 2nd and 5, takes the snap, goes to the right side, looking for Addison, end zone, touchdown Vikings! Denzel Ward in the area, but Carson Wentz places a perfect ball over the corner corner, into the arms of Jordan Addison, who falls into the end zone, and the Minnesota Vikings take a 20-17 lead here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
It's a perfect call from Kevin O'Connell. He gets just a little out and up route from Jordan Addison to the sidelines. The Browns are sitting in zone. Denzel Walker not trigger and close on the ball.
I said it last week, are you not entertained? What a throw from Carson Wentz on that play. What a drive to take the ball 80 yards down the field. Ball is down, kick is up for the extra point, and kick is good. 4-point game. The 2-2 Minnesota Vikings lead the 1-3 Cleveland Browns 21-17. No timeouts for the Browns. 25 seconds on the clock. Dylan Gabriel somehow pulls out a touchdown drive in 25 seconds here. He will go down in absolute Cleveland lore, but we've seen a season of blocked kicks. We've seen a season of special teams mistakes. We've seen a season of returns left, right and centre. Is there a final twist in the tail here, or will Minnesota leave London 1-1 on their European trip and 3-2 on the season?
The Browns have to feel really gutted about putting the game in the hands of their defense. Go and get a stop for us. It's Carson Wentz. It's a beat-up Vikings offensive line. They said, we're just going to play coverage. Wentz will make a mistake. Our pass rush will get home. And Wentz made really smart decisions. A brilliantly called drive from Kevin O'Connell as well.
And they didn't even have to use the timeout. They didn't even have to use the timeout that they saved because they threw on the 3rd and 9. Astonishing. Really great drive from the Vikings. Really great play calling from Kevin O'Connell. And now as Will Ricard gets set to kick one back for the Cleveland Browns on the goal line. On the far side, I think it's Jerome Ford. And it's going to go towards Ford. He has a blocker in front of him, fields it at the 3, comes out to the 20, 25, out to the outside, gets to nearly the 30-yard line, but it takes another 4 or 5 seconds off of the clock. It's going to be 21 seconds on the game clock, and Dylan Gabriel is going to be getting the ball back at the 29-yard line. I mean, this is such a tough territory for Kevin Stefanski. What you can call here, you obviously have to use the sidelines. You know that Brian Flores is a master of these situations. This is incredibly tough for the Cleveland Browns as they break the huddle very quickly. Apologies, Ollie Connolly. I'm speaking over you, but this is a big moment. Dylan Gabriel in the gun. He's got a back alongside him. 3 receivers left, 1 receiver to the right. Set drop back. There is pressure from Dallas Turner. Rolls up in the pocket, over the middle, finds his man right around midfield, right down on the F of the NFL logo. Isaiah Bonds gets out past the 50. They've got to rush up. They've got to spike it. 9 seconds, 8 seconds remaining. 7 seconds on the clock. Big chunk play on the first play of the drive, and that at least gives them a chance.
You see the Dylan Gabriel impact right there, stepping up and climbing through the pocket. The Vikings are in 2-man defense, so man coverage on the outside with 2 safeties deep. It leaves no one to account for the quarterback in coverage, which allows him to climb up through the pocket. Someone has to trigger to go and get Gabriel, and he can throw the ball to an open man down the field.
Isaiah Bonds, 22-yard completion they give him at the end to the Minnesota 49. Is this... Do you just go for this?
Gotta go for
They
it.
are playing essentially for a Hail Mary here. Dylan Gabriel on his NFL debut has time to let the play develop. They take time to rush. It's up, it's in the air, it's going to the end zone. Can they come down with it? No, it's a Minnesota Viking who brings the ball down, and the Minnesota Vikings will come away from London with the victory, the final interception of the game. It's the man of the season for the Minnesota Vikings. Isaiah Rodgers again makes the big play, and this could all be over, but the referee is coming up to communicate something with us. 21-17. Have the Vikings won it?
Prior to the ball being snapped, we had an acknowledgement of a timeout for Minnesota. 7 seconds back on the game clock. 30 seconds on
my God. Isaiah Rodgers just iced the game for the Minnesota Vikings, and Kevin O'Connell took a timeout. Wow! That is astonishing. What are they doing? And obviously, hindsight's 2020, but man, that's got to hurt.
If you're the Browns, you cannot, I think, attempt another Hail Mary. I think you got to try and find a way to throw the ball to the sideline and hope for the best, then take another Hail Mary shot if you can. Gabriel just doesn't have the arm to drive that thing down the field. That thing was floating up in the air for far too long, allowed Isaiah Rodgers to go make a play on the ball.
Interestingly, the Vikings elected to bring 4 on that, but on a very delayed pressure, which... You know, getting in his bag a little bit, Flores, right? from the 49-yard line. It's a second attempt, baby, at the Hail Mary. This time they will bring pressure. Gabriel has some time. The play is developing, but he does go over the sideline, down to the 30, out to the 9, tackled down in bounds. Jeff Okuda, the clock will run, and this time the Minnesota Vikings defense end this game. We thought it was all over. Jamari Thrash with the catch, but this time it is. The Minnesota Vikings come out on top after a brilliant fourth quarter drive from Carson Wentz going 80 yards to give them the lead. Jordan Addison with the catch, and 21-17, the Vikings come away with London with the victory.
An excellent tackle from Jeff Okuda in space. The Browns went to what we just talked about. We're going to have to throw it underneath. We don't trust that Dylan Gabriel has the arm to drive it that far down the field. Let's try and steal some space up the field and get to the sideline. They just couldn't hit it.
Overall, reflecting on that game, Dylan Gabriel, yes, comes away with the defeat. The Browns fall to 1-4, disappointing. But I think he showed a huge amount today in defeat. I think he showed a huge amount of poise, some great decision making, and as the teams meet at midfield, I think he's got a lot to be proud of from that performance today.
Yeah, if I was the Browns, there's nothing on the offense I'd be disappointed with, given what they were dealing with coming into the season, given the receiver room, given the issues on the offensive line. The only flaw in Gabriel's game was exposed there right at the end with just the deep arm talent down the field. But in terms of decision making, moving around the pocket, some of the mobility stuff, we got to see that throughout today. He can be a point guard style play for you. He can be a kind of Brock Purdy, distributed to the right targets type play. He just doesn't quite have that high-end upside with the arm talent, but he played like a really high-quality backup player in the league, which was a rookie in your first start in an international game against that defense is, I think, as good as they could have hoped for.
And Carson Wentz and Jim Schwartz have a lengthy conversation at midfield. Myles Garrett coming off the field looking incredibly disappointed. David Njoku having a lovely time catching up with his friends on the Vikings. Him and Justin Jefferson about to exchange jerseys. He had a whale of a time here in London today, but the Vikings come away with the win. And with Carson Wentz suffering that injury at the end of the first half, coming out taped up in the second half, the opening half touchdown drive, moving the ball down the field, I thought he looked tentative at times. A lot of it was play design. The gutsiness to come out in that fourth quarter to put together a game-winning drive, I thought was sensational.
Yeah, and the catch from Jordan Addison at the end, he was benched to open the game because of whatever happened pre-game. And suddenly Carson Wentz, I think we undersold the shot from Carson Wentz on that throw. It is a cover two, a ripper to Jordan Addison, put where only his guy can go make a play. Addison goes, makes the play. That is why you have Carson Wentz in the lineup, right? It's the vet stuff. Can you just avoid disasters, keep us on schedule, give our defense a chance, and if we don't turn the ball over too consistently in the passing game, we'll always have a shot.
And look, from the Vikings' perspective, they've got the bye week next week, a chance to get a little bit healthy. Who knows what the status of, say, Brian O'Neill and his strained MCLs. Who knows what the status of Donovan Jackson coming off that is going to be. I mean, Ryan Kelly goes on to IR, but this is a banged-up team right now. They've got to play the Eagles in 2 weeks' time in the 6 p.m. window. They then go to the Chargers on Thursday Night Football on a short week, to the Lions, home to the Ravens, who admittedly haven't been up to the standard people expected this year. But as a 4-game stretch, if you are banged up and you've only just about made 3 and 2, like, they needed this. They didn't just want it, they had to have this.
They had to have it, and it was just really tough going up against that quality of defense, but they more than held their own. That offensive line, given all the concerns you just mentioned there, credit to both Kevin O'Connell and Carson Wentz, but the line held up. It started to get worked over a little as the second half went along, but in crucial downs, in key situations on both those long drives you mentioned, there was not a ton of pressure on Carson Wentz to the degree we expected coming into the game.
Look, brilliant stuff from the whole team here. Tom Scholes from the team on talkSPORT, Brian Smith and Sam Matterface having here alongside us as well. Gregg Rosenthal, as I mentioned already, NFL Daily tomorrow morning will be myself, Ollie Connolly alongside me. Gregg Rosenthal will be breaking down not just this game, but the 6 games coming up in the 6 p.m. window and the 4 games in the 9 p.m. window. We're going to hand over Sunday Night Football, I think, to Jordan and Patrick, because honestly, I'm not staying up to 5 a.m. and then recording a podcast, having got here at like 10:30 this morning. But thank you to everyone on the team. Brilliant stuff. That's second of 4 straight international series games here on talkSPORT 2. Next weekend, we're back here for Jets Broncos. And up next, here on talkSPORT 2, it's our very own Will Varney to take you through the Jets trying to get their season back on track against the Dallas Cowboys, plus keeping you across all of the other 6 p.m. games. If you're just leaving the stadium, if you're popping your headphones in, tune in. We'll be bringing you some locker room as well. We're heading down there now. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the first London game of the season and a barnstormer as the Minnesota Vikings beat the Cleveland Browns 21-17. Thank you, Scott. Top stuff. Appreciate it. Good man.